Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Synth Geekery, episode 274. If you've made it thus far, congratulations. I don't know how I've done it, so God knows how you've done it. Anyway, today is Saturday the 14th of December and we're streaming live from Perth, Western Australia, and it's currently 9 p.m. here where we are. Nice and warm, actually. Synth Geekery, by the way, is a weekly live podcast about synthesizers, sequencers, drum machines, DAWs, and other music technology, and we have regular segments as well, and we usually try to cover a topic each week as well. We've been bringing you the show, obviously, for about 5 years or more, and over that time I get asked, how can I contribute? And to keep the show going, of course. So we do have our Streamlabs, which you can, that one there, which you can do a TTS with. Super Chat is also available through YouTube. Don't forget though, YouTube takes 30% of the revenue and Streamlabs only takes 3%. But of course you can use Super Chat if it's more convenient for you. Don't forget, we also have Patreon via the links and everything like that, which is all part of the description of the video. Don't forget to click like if you're new here, and subscribe as well. It always helps with the show, and there's more information on the Ranzee.com website if you're still sort of after information. Also, we continue the chat during the week through, through this one, Discord. There's the link there, bit.ly/Ranzee Discord. And of course, you can actually be part of the show. And we do have the Zoom calls, which I just showed you a second ago. And I'll post all these links for you guys in a sec so you can click on them all in the chat. So that's if you want to join us on Zoom. Zoom is up and running. It's free to join Zoom. There's no cost or anything. But before we do any of that, why don't we jump over and say good day to our regular guests, which are sitting over here. Big hello to Daren and Andy, Ian and Chris, and that's from left to right. You guys can work it out. Anyway, they'll introduce themselves in a couple of secs, and also big hello to all of you in the chat as well. If you are part of the show and you're just lurking around and you are watching, and it's easy for you to jump onto the chat, don't forget you can do that as well. So I do appreciate it if you can be part of it, join into the community. We are a community. So let's say hello to everybody, and we'll start with Daren. How's your week been?
G'day. Cold. Damn cold. Yeah, cold. Not done a great deal, although I have had someone send me some things over just recently. I haven't got a track for tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to be able to write what I want to do in time. But I've just before I come on the show, I had a few little ideas I was playing with, so I might try and do something during Sunday morning and put it up at Sunday afternoon. So it's not going to be like the best track ever. But yeah, so I've been working with some, what can I say? Someone sent me some things over for now. We'll say that, won't we, Chris? Interesting actually, because the minimal track that I sent that I did the other week anyway, as you sent me some stuff over, that minimal track doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
because when it been a rush track like the one that'll be this week, I just basically put things together. We recorded it, put it together, sent it out, didn't master or anything, and didn't save it. It just goes into the ether. Because some of my tracks do that. I sometimes just write them and put them out on YouTube and delete them. They do not even exist. So if you ever want to play them live, I'm a bit screwed because I haven't got anything of it. So I've had to come up with a different idea. But yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, Chris?
no worries.
Oh, cool.
That's my week.
Oh, you
that's
finished?
That's going to be my Sunday. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have anything else.
No worries. All right, heading over to the next. We have 80. How's your week been, mate?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Cool, excellent. You never know with the stupid mic. It doesn't work sometimes. Yeah, it was actually a real busy week. Lots of fun stuff going on. First of all, right now we got pouring rain right now, and the coolest thunder and lightning storm in a while. Probably the only one we had this year so far. We don't get a lot of thunder and lightning here. And it was so bright that it was flashing through the windows with the shutters closed. It was pretty amazing. But I'm here, so I can't go out and record it. And then I did a bunch of Osmos and A-frame tech demos this week. So if you guys like that stuff, check those out. They're mostly live streams, I think, but I don't remember exactly. And the highlight of the week was first a collaboration jam I've done with anybody for probably a couple decades. If you don't count a demo, I turned a friend's drum demo into a track a long time ago without him knowing about it. Said, hey, what do you think? And he goes, that's nice. But this is a proper collab. We actually met several times over Google Meet, sent stuff back and forth, kind of like that band, The Postal Service, where you send pieces back and forth. And then because the Symptoms of Reality channel that streamed it on Saturday, Marilyn, who's one of the members there, we got picked to use her vocals. So we got randomly picked teams, but we also got picked to be the one to use her vocals. So we came up with a scheme based on our track and some scales and stuff, and said, hey, how about this? And then she took a stab at it, and it worked out really well. So I'll put it in the chat if you guys want to check it out. So worked out very well. So that's it.
Good stuff.
Fantastic. All right, heading over the other side of the globe, and we have Ian. Hey, how's your week been?
Hello. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Yeah, busy week again. I mean, last week I said about the fact that we were going to do some CDs for Sinners Music. We now have a CD. We have a white label CD, but it's actually like a vinyl CD. I don't know if you can see it's even got like fake grooves in it. So I've been working on that most of the week, like sort of setting up PCs. I've not used a PC for probably decades. I've now got a PC in here which is running Sony software to make tracks and stuff like that. When I say make tracks, it's putting the data onto the tracks. I'll probably do a whole video on it at some point. And I decided that wasn't enough. Really, some of you probably do know that Sinners Music, we have on our Bandcamp, we have a subscription model. We haven't got a lot of subscribers, we've got a few, which is for £3 a month. You can get a whole lot of back catalogue, like 20 albums, and then you get new stuff as it comes out. So it's lots of people have been using it. We've decided to up the game. So for £10 a month, you get all of our back catalogue, with the exception of a few, because I've not spoken to Ranzee yet about this, and one or two other artists, but most of our back catalogue for £10 a month, and we send them out on CDs, either like this or as other versions, for 10 quid a month. So I've been doing that all week. Wrote a couple of songs which are going to be out next year. It's been great actually. So I haven't properly launched this yet, and this is the official part of it, I suppose. But I will do some videos on it, and we'll promote it a bit more over the next probably over Christmas, I would have guessed. But but that's my week. It's been really interesting. Fighting with, I've got a CD duplicator down here, which I've had for a very long time. Ran off the first batch of CDs with one failure, which and then after that it wouldn't work. So I may need to buy a new CD duplicator, but that's technology for you, isn't it? And it's old technology. But good week really. Just really busy.
Fantastic. All right, and heading over to the other side of the world is Chris. Hey, how's your week been?
Not bad, mate. How's my volume? My volume good? Am I a bit soft or am I a bit loud?
Sounds okay to me.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what
else?
the punters say.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, everyone. It's been another busy-ish week for me. Apart from annoying Daren by sending him ridiculous WAV files, with me doing stuff in them with microphones. I've been busy working on the Trexie firmware. It's been a bit of a challenging week this week because I had to wrap my head around the modulation system. I had to invent one, so that took a little bit of time to get my head around. Sometimes the programming gods don't give you the muse doesn't come, shall we say, and you have to kind of do a few other different things. So while inspiration was coming there, I decided to do some circuit board design because I need to send off more boards to be manufactured, and I wanted to maximize my shipping as usual. And I thought, actually, there is one thing I do actually kind of need to do quality control and future firmware development, and that's a little board here, which is it's kind of like a prototyping sort of platform for that little chip up the top there, where it says AT-Tiny85V. It's a very small chip that I don't have a programmer for unless it's in a board, so I thought I really need to make one, so I know how to do that. Taking bits and pieces from projects that I've already done and some new stuff which is coming in new projects, such as that thing down the bottom and that LED strip in the middle. Hint, hint. So having a little prototype board for that is going to be a good idea because I need to make a whole lot of those LED strips. And of course I'll be doing paneling for that, which is the other thing I'm going to be doing, sending off for manufacturing. I've never sent off a panelled PCB before. That's paneling, if you don't know, is where you put many PCBs together on one board and they have little break-off connectors, mouse bites and things like that, which, so they come off and you just snap them off and then you clean them up and you get many boards out of one piece of fiberglass, which is more cost-effective and efficient. It's also really good for manufacturing assembly, if that eventually happens, which it's possibly in the pipeline, because everything on this LED strip board is surface mount. So this will be my first surface mount project as well, although it's a very, very gentle first surface mount project. So yes. So anyway, getting back onto the Trexie firmware, I did actually crack the modulation system, so I was very pleased about that. And it didn't turn out a horrible mess and didn't overblow my code, which I completely expected. So after having completed that, I thought, I'll quit where I'm at here and I'll just get back to the PCB stuff. But just to give you a slight update on the Trexie firmware, I've got the modulation system, as I mentioned, which is CV and knob mapping of parameters to elements in your patch. Knob catching, which is, you've probably all seen it, where you have multiple parameters mapped one knob. When you change to a different parameter, the knob has to pick up the previous value, and there's behavior and user interface around that to make it clear that you've picked up the the last parameter setting that you had when you were last there. Parameter selection, I talked about that. I've done some work on testing the actual outputs, the actual generation of triggers to the envelopes. I've got a bouncing ball test that worked fairly well, and I've even got a reverse bouncing ball test. And that all worked pretty well first time, so that's looking good for the future. What else did I do this week? Well, there's been a few arrivals, couple of DIY kits, and so I've got some stuff from Feedback Modules came. So this is the envelope follower. Yeah, so this is the envelope follower, which is basically the envelope follower from the 2600 as a DIY kit. As I don't have the 2600, and I now have the 2600 filter, and I got the 2600 oscillator, kind of completing the set. And the other thing I've also got, which is over there, is the Magic Ring, which is the ring modulator from Feedback Modules. I'll just pull this out, actually. So you can see what I'm talking about. So, yeah, Magic Ring. A bit different from most ring modulators in that it's kind of got some parameters that adjust the sort of turn point or the bias or something. It goes a bit weird, so I thought that sounds like fun. So I got one of those.
Is it based on anything?
And that's a good question. I could not work out whether it was based on anything. Actually, I do remember wondering the same thing, and I don't recall getting an answer. So I could always ask him, and I'm sure he'd be happy to tell me where the circuitry originated from. The other thing I've got is something from what's it? Neutral Labs. I always get their name wrong. Sorry, guys. I keep on thinking you're Neural Labs, but you're Neutral Labs, which does my head in. Anyway, this is not the cool drum machine thing that I was coveting during this year. I haven't quite. Oh, that's right. It's a kit. Gotta say that. This is the Scat Steiner Parker filter. So with the little circuit boards you plug in the front to create different kinds of distortion. So, so nobody should be surprised that I wanted to pick up one of those when it was going cheap. So there's that. And that's unfortunately, sorry, Mr. Wagoo, I haven't put out that second video yet of the 182 step sequencer, but who knows, he probably hasn't watched the first one yet, so we're all friends here. I'm sure we can tolerate each other's busy lives. So that's pretty much it for me. I may mention something on next week's show, if there is a next week's show. Is there a next week's show, Rance? Do you know?
As far as I'm aware, there is.
Okay, cool. I will save it then for that. Just something, a Kickstarter campaign that I've backed. Oh, no. It's just a Kickstarter campaign that I've backed that if it's struggling to get to the backing point, I will mention it and see if I can get it guys over the line. They're doing quite well, so I think it'll be fine, but I'll just mention it then. It's not really music related, so I didn't really take up space on the show for that. So that's pretty much it for me this week.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys, and everyone who's joined us. And before we go across to anything else, we do need to say a big warm welcome to all the chatties, which are there in the room. And obviously, I'd like to provide a really, really nice warm welcome to all of my supporters. And so here they are here, Patreons, all of those guys, and also the channel members, which are listed below. So a big thank you to the YouTube channel members and the Patreons. Much appreciated. So big shout out to the chatties, and we like to mention those who are in the chat who are part of the channel membership. And you've got Kent Spong there saying hello again, and you've got Keith in Watford. And you can see those guys in the chat. They've got a little Synth Geekery icon next to their name, and the colors do mean stuff too. So The colours mean that they've been there for a certain longevity. Mac's there as well. Macrodos, Exorb's there. Big hello to you guys. Conrad Gibbons, I noticed as well, and Dave. Big hello to you, Dave. And who else did I notice in there? Also, a shout out to guys like Inverted Popes, who's illustriously been part of the show for a long time and does the moderation in the background, and also Brooksy as well. Brooksy's in the chat, channel member and also a moderator as well. So big thank you for that. And you guys who were Patreons, you saw your names flashing across the screen before, so you guys should be happy with that. Right, I got some news for you. It's been a pretty difficult week this week for me. I'll get into why in a sec. Oops, let me go across one more. No, I'm going to have to do something with that camera in a sec. Okay, so I went away on a camping trip. We stayed in a tent on an island. The island's just off the city. It's called Rottnest. It's a very famous island. There's one of our tents that I set up. That we call that one the Taj, because it's a massive tent. It's about 6.5 meters long and about 3.5 meters wide, and it's got like 3 rooms inside and canopy off the side and everything. We also had my tent, the dome tent, set up the back. My 30-year-old dome tent that's still going strong. Takes me about 2 seconds to set that thing up. Love that tent. And we were enjoying our holiday. It was a pretty cool holiday. We had quokkas. You guys have probably heard of these things. They're pretty famous.
Hey.
Lots of people doing selfies. I thought I'd take a photo for Andy because I know he likes this sort of stuff. But we had a bit of bad news. Actually, really, really bad news. So as we were sort of heading towards the end of the holiday, we got a phone call from our dog minder that our little Bonnie was, she went for a walk and she got really, really severe heat stroke. And we didn't know what to do with it. So they took her into the vet, and Bonnie was on life support on Wednesday. And she was on oxygen. She was in a really, really bad way. I don't have pet insurance, so this was very, very expensive for me. So I just said, I don't care how much it costs. Try and save the poor girl.
How hot was it, Ranzee?
Her temperature got to 43. For a dog, that is when all the internal organs start to fail. So she was in a bad way. The vet said, well, she basically gave me a call and told me that we need to prepare for the worst. So try and get your ass over here. So I chucked my wife on, because the only way to get back from Rottnest to my city is unless you're paying an exuberant amount of money and get an emergency helicopter flight, which we won't even go there. I chucked her on a ferry because there just happened to be one leaving within 5 minutes. So I chucked her on that and I said, right, you get there, you go and see your dog and, give her some support and that sort of stuff. So she went off on her own. She left all her bags, her bike, everything behind. And I said, look, I'll sort it out. We'll be all fine. Don't worry about it. Just go and, get to our poor dog and see what we can do. And she was really, really good, my wife. She was sending me lots of text messages and photos and things like that, keeping me updated on everything. Because we were stuck there probably for about another 4 or 5 hours before we could get on the next ferry. And because we had to pack all the tents up and get all the gear, and I had kids with me, and so it was quite a logistics thing. So anyway, the good news was that Bonnie started to slowly progress in her favour. So this was kind of late towards the end of the first day, and she was briefly off the oxygen, coming off. But she's, I don't know if you can tell with this, but she's actually in an oxygen tent there. So they zip it all up and they put her in an oxygen tent. So so she doesn't need the mask on her anymore. And about $10,000 worth of vet fees later, we got to take Bonnie home yesterday, and she's home with us. Still a little sickly.
Worse for wear.
A little sickly, but
How old is she?
she's 4, and I'll bring
4,
her in a
okay.
minute. I'll show you guys. Bring her in a sec. You guys can see her. So yeah,
I'm
that
glad it
was
worked out.
it was a
Sad.
tough week for me.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that, Rance.
Your family members, it's important.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like, I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's a great outcome. I really, really do. Like, I just said to the wife, I said, look, I don't care how much it costs. Let's just throw money at it until, you know. And the vet said to me, she goes, she's a miracle. She's a miracle. She goes, I've never ever seen a dog recover from a 43-degree temperature and not have internal organ failure and survive. So she obviously wanted to survive.
Yeah.
Was it one of your hottest days so far?
It was 39/40 around the traps. I don't know what possessed the dog minder to take her for a walk, because that was pretty stupid. But I'm not blaming.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming them. You
Yeah.
can't blame people for
These
that.
things
It's not their fault.
Yeah, because people don't know that dogs can only cool through panting. They can't sweat. So
Yeah.
it's
And
real bad.
Basically, what happens is if they can't.
For our furry friends,
Stop a second.
have lost Thebe this year, Purple Heart.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lost
Sorry, mate,
2
for your
this year
loss
well.
as well. Yeah. With,
Yeah.
Cleo. Yeah. Appreciate
And his
appreciate that, mate.
brother as well, I think.
And yeah, the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were lucky. We're not out of the woods yet. She's on really, really heavy medication at the moment. She's, she's potentially going to be okay. It just depends. We're going to do some more blood tests over the next couple of weeks and see how we go with her. But I saw over the last, she stayed in hospital for 3 days, and I saw the first chart, and it was like red next to all the blood tests, like it was alarm, like this is not right, this is not
Yikes.
right. She had liver failure, she had kidney failure, she had low blood alcohol, blood oxygen, low blood alcohol. She's got to get off the terps. She had all sorts of issues. Right, the next day some of these started to disappear, and so it was just a few scattered reds. And then on the last day, she only had like one in the red, which is her liver, which out of all of the internal organs, that's the one that you'd probably sort of take a hit, because it does actually heal itself.
Recover.
It can recover. So we're really lucky. We really are. But don't want to put it down on the show, because I actually think this is actually a really good story, because it ended up being fantastic.
Got a positive ending.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a similar experience with my sister's cat, whose name I've forgotten because we're on a stream. At the beginning of that cat's life, it was on life support as well, and they did have pet insurance, but they did also do the old no expense spared, throw everything you've got at it, which the vets love, because it means that they got a chance of saving them, but very few people can usually either make that decision or just are willing to take the hit. So no, it's cool what you did, Rance, to save your little friend there, because
It's also important to bring that stuff up, because a lot of owners don't know that about the heat. So
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I've seen,
it's called heat stroke. I mean,
Very
you guys have heard of
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
Everyone's heard
this
of
is
it.
a PSA.
I'll go
It's a
grab
good
a hand.
PSA. So
Yeah, they sort of dogs left in cars. I mean, we're in a cold
that's
country,
I see it all the
in
time.
England, but
I want to strangle
hot
people
summer.
when I see that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're not dog people, but we get it with pets. They're part of the family.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we would have a cat if we'd be worried about the vet bills. To be fair.
Yeah.
Are you a cat person?
Yeah.
then, Ian?
Well, if you keep it indoors, it's safe.
Yeah, I've always been a cat person. My mother had dogs, and I used to taking the thing for a walk.
Yeah, hey,
Me
I'm a cat
me
person
too,
all
Ian.
my life.
I've always been a cat. We've had cats in the past
Daren.
when the boys were We're small. You know.
I've definitely warmed to dogs, though. I didn't used to be, but now
I have since I've been to Kent's.
Quite like them. Yeah.
Kent's
Here's
dogs
Bonnie,
are
everyone.
amazing.
That'd do it.
Hey.
Hello. Oh. she's going, what's all the fuss about? Oh, I think she looks very happy to be home to me. Very happy.
I just woke
Be
her
out
up.
of that horrible place. Mm.
She has that great snore too. You've left her on stream before with snoring in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The vet said that she could actually cure from that.
Oh, wow.
I might actually just pop her back out again. Just 1 sec.
No worries.
She might just have a chill in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sisters have, they've had one, they used to have 2 cats, and one of them unfortunately passed away last year. But they've adopted a stray kitten, believe it or not. And they're calling it Kimber. I haven't actually met it in person yet, but it's a real kitten.
It's funny because
So-
when I
Cats
went
are always on
when I
full
went-
pipe, ready for a fight.
Yeah,
Always on full pipe.
They tend to
When I went
adopt
up to-
owners rather than the
Go
other
on.
way around, don't they?
when I went up to York, the friends I was staying with had 2 cats, and Jess, one of them, I wanted to catnap her. She was great, you know. And in fact, they sent me a message said I didn't expect Jess to be here because, I mean, literally, I'd be there editing some video, and she was sat on just in the chair next to me. She was brilliant, absolutely. I just absolutely loved her. She was great.
Awesome.
And I'm allergic to cats. I have to take antihistamines to
Oh, no.
I.
to go near
okay.
cats and dogs.
No.
So I'm popping antihistamines to live in their
No.
house. You know.
Yeah, so kind of lesson learned for me was next time we go away, we're going to probably get someone who can come here and stay here and look after her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe just go somewhere where we can bring her with us.
Yeah.
Do you have reasonable
My
boarding
sister's-
places there? Like we have Petco and stuff like that around here where you can board your animal while you're on vacation.
We do, but we chose one through a boarding, like minding place, and they were reputable. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not their fault, so we're not going to worry about that sort of stuff. But and I've taken pet insurance out as well.
Yeah.
It's worth it, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah, definitely worth
I'm
it.
poor. I'm literally poor now.
That's right.
Because of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't care. Honestly, I would do the same for my kids. I would do the same for my wife.
Yes, you would.
I don't care how much it costs. I'd sell my
It's
last.
a good thing you
synth.
did sell that gear, so you had a cushion there, right? So
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm paying off a credit card. Was what I was doing with that gear, so I never got to see that money really. I probably need to do some more, to be fair. But yeah. All right, let's get stuck into the show because we have regular segments to go through. Let's start with our first one off the ranks. Funny side. Stranger things can happen with funny side, and you may actually find these memes kind of weird, like the synth making weird noises. I think I've done that before. At first, you have, oh my god, there's something wrong with it, and then you think, hang on a minute, this is cool.
yeah, sample
Pro
while you can.
800?
Yeah.
My Pro 800 did
Your
that.
Pro 800, yeah.
My Pro 800.
Any Soma synth.
Later in the show, I'm going to grab a module that I've got, which I think there's something wrong with it, but then maybe it might be a good thing. So this is kind of related to this meme. Next is FM has taught me a lot about the world. Make a filter sweep then. For those people who are into FM, they'll get this one.
Yes. Kind of.
Yes. Operator 1 going into operator 2 going into...
Yes.
Yeah.
With an envelope. Yep.
Yep. All right. Big things coming. Indeed. A USB powered synth with a knob.
There is that guy who does those. Have you seen the guy who does the tiny MIDI
Tiny
synth?
MIDI, and that's probably him.
It's kind of.
I have some like that without knobs, but yeah, there are several companies that make those.
Yeah.
So, you're absolutely right. It probably isn't.
Knobbage was my comment when I saw this come out during the week. And I thought of you,
The only thing
Darren.
you
I don't know
need.
why. I just thought Darren would like this.
It's if it was purple and big.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren liked the big knob. Yeah.
we've had a Brooksy. We've had a synth that is a mini micro synth before. It's not this particular one though, but yeah, very very similar, and it's probably the same guy that Chris is talking about. Rate my setup. You can just see part of it just over here.
Yes.
That's the original motor synth, by the way. So
There's a lot of magnetism going in that one. Anyway, next. I'll do whatever you want. Will you listen to my tracks? I mean,
price is too high.
Sometimes that's the only way we can get people to listen to our tracks.
When I was a teenager, it used to be, will you listen to my mixtapes? Now it's, will you listen to my tracks? You know, it's just a
my
struggle.
Doorless Jam, yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Please like me on Facebook. Yeah.
Please subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Exactly.
I've only got 2 subscribers. I need to get to 100 before YouTube thinks I'm real. Been there, people. Been there and grovelled. Still grovelling.
Might still be there.
I lost something like 900 subscribers over the last YouTube algorithm. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I've been having that too. Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't touch me because I was nothing to touch.
Let us know your favourite
I was going to
meme.
say, when you haven't got many, it's not that hard of them to take away.
Yeah, it's like you just.
What's
fall
wrong with
under
the
Definitely the
Mark
last one
IV
for many
Cortina,
reasons. That was a
Kent?
great one.
What's wrong with the Mark IV Cortina? I mean, that's a babe machine, surely.
Come on, yeah.
That's a babe machine. Let us know in the chat what your favourite one was. I'm guessing it was the last one. I'm thinking that was the last one.
Yeah.
I think I'm going with the last one.
Yeah.
Listen to my tracks. Everyone in the chat saying it. Just to sort of...
It was prescient and prurient.
Prosy, no.
Prosy. Rate my setup.
It's not PC.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's night time here. It's after, the kids are in bed.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
If you're a different part of the world, bad luck for you. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's do some news. This week we got... if people are going to get upset about this, I don't really care because I think it's time we kind of got over it. There's one company that's been bringing a lot of stuff out, and we need to, check it out.
Go through it.
Gino.
Oh, yes.
Hang on a sec. We got a super chat come through just before we get into this. I just want to quickly grab it from Big Wags. He sent us a 50 chuff, a chuff of 50. Thank you very much, mate. Oh. And there's a picture of a little, what is it? A
Shiba
doggy?
Inu is very happy there. Yeah.
It's like
Shiba
a
Inu.
fox.
Type thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu. I don't know
Postman
those.
Fox.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Thanks, Wags. Appreciate that, buds.
Japanese
All
dog.
right. Let's get stuck into these, hey? First one off the rank is the JT Mini. Comment that I sort of thought was, I don't know why these titles aren't working, by the way. I have time to fix them, so just ignore them down the bottom, by the way. Anyway, the comment that I thought this week was Volker Keys, watch out. I mean, Volker Keys has been out for 10 years, so I don't really know if it needs to watch out, because it's probably a grandpa.
I called it a Volker.
But anyway, let's have a little squiz at the vid that's come out. Hopefully it pops up there. There we go. Cool. Play that.
So judging by the feedback from all you awesome synth heads out there, our mini series got off to a pretty cracking start with the Pro VS Mini. I mean, who doesn't like a good compact hybrid synthesizer? But what do you reckon, guys? Is it time to add to the series? Perhaps with something fully analog this time? Yeah, we think so too. Introducing the JT Mini. So last year we introduced the first synth of our highly anticipated new compact line of mini synthesizers. A series that captures the iconic tones of a golden era of synth music and reimagines them to a hyper-portable and modern format. And what better way to add to the series than with one of the most revered synth tones of the 80s, introducing the JT Mini. And it's inspired by one of the heavyweights of early 80s synthesizers, the one and only Jupiter, used by the biggest artists to create some of the most recognizable songs of the era. And it's pretty crazy to have such a big analog sound in such a small format with so many features. It comes with a fat-sounding 3-voice analog VCO that can be played in poly mode for 3-note paraphonic chords and pads, or in a unison mode with stacked oscillators for massive bass and lead sounds. And it has 4 selectable wave shapes with onboard pulse width modulation. It has a character oozing analog filter with switchable 2-pole and 4-pole, a 4-fader ADSR envelope, and a multi-wave shape LFO. There's the familiar 27-touch sensitive keyboard, so you can play and create inside or outside the studio with a really intuitive menu system for configuring your patches and settings. And it's got an onboard arpeggiator with 3 modes and a really cool 16-step motion sequencer. So as well as being able to record and sequence your own melodies and patterns, you can also record knob movements into the pattern. And it even has LEDs built into the controls for instant visual feedback. Pretty cool. Then you get a high quality headphone output, analog sync connections, and comprehensive MIDI implementation via full-size MIDI DIN, or of course through its power connection via USB-C. Which also gives you the ultimate luxury of playing an analog synth anywhere you want by powering it straight off a smartphone or USB charging bank, as well as, of course, a computer. And what a great little synth it is. And Gianni...
All right, that'll do for that, I think, because I think we can talk about it now, guys. I've got a question for the Brains Trust here. He says it's inspired by the Jupiter. So I'm guessing they haven't quite copied the oscillators exactly. I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, it would just be a 3340 VCO in there. I'm not sure if it's a... because it does a, you know, it's a 3-voice one, so I don't know whether they've got 3 of them in there. I'm just looking at the waveform selections. There's a couple of familiarities with that, and some of the features that it's got on it. I'm not sure. It may not be. But does anyone actually know?
Not until it gets opened up by someone.
Not sure.
Yeah.
One funny thing though is people complain about the boutique version, but this has longer throw faders, but it has only 4 of them, right? So it's not replicating that layout at all.
No.
So
I also think they've missed a trick.
I do prefer sliders.
They've released it now, but I've just looked at Anderton's now, and they are not expecting stock. It says for anything up to 3 months. If everywhere had stock this week, they would sell bucket loads of them for Christmas. Christmas price, what, 80 quid, 85 quid, something like that. It's a great little Christmas present. 99. Okay, so sub 100 quid.
I got that one, didn't I?
Pro VS.
Yeah, and it's fine for what it is. Like you say, 80 quid, just a bunch of
It's hard not to.
And you're
for
happy,
the money you can't
you're
complain,
happy with it, aren't you,
sure.
Darren?
Yeah, I'm not expecting it to be sounding exactly the same as, well, anything, to be honest, but it's 80 quid, and it's 80 quid, and it's great fun. It's just use it for sounds mostly and creating things.
I mean,
I'm not.
If you want to get sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I'm not a great big fan of the keyboard bit here.
Yeah, me not.
No.
I'd quite happily just have that section there for 80 quid. But I get it because it needs to do a few little molds and things. But yeah, 80 quid.
What I was just going to say was if it gets kids into synths, happy days.
Exactly. You can virtually buy it as a stock.
Similar.
I was a kid, I would
Buy
love
that,
this.
buy that as
This is
you,
amazing.
you'll 11-year-old's boy or girl first synth. Spot on. Brilliant.
Yeah, it does more than Chompy.
I don't want one.
The sounds on
Better than
that
Chompy, exactly, yeah.
the sounds on that video, by the way, were from the JT Mini, and that would be silly of them not for it not to be, of course. But I thought the sounds were, you know, very Jupiter sounding. Look, then again, too, when you start getting into that Roland world around that period, like, it can get a bit sort of melded together with some of the other synths of that time. Like, you know, there are subtle differences between a lot of the synths that Roland bring out, and they've got some features that others don't have, and blah blah blah. You can get into the weeds that way, but there is a sort of analog Roland sound, and that JT Mini did have it.
It's kind of the Japanese sound, I think they used to call it back then.
It definitely had it. I like it. It's quite a. I've always liked it. It's quite a sort of a pleasing sound. You know,
I always liked the Jupiter 4. That was my favourite synth. If they brought out a proper Jupiter 4, I'd probably be very tempted to buy it.
yeah, the ProMars Poly
6
version.
for me.
Yeah. 6 for you. and-
Also, depending on the processor they put in this thing, I mean, ASM machine coded, machine language modeled all those filters in there, and they sound amazing. There's no reason they couldn't do that with a Jupiter filter in this, depending on what chip they put inside of it. So you don't have to build it. You can also do it in software.
Yeah.
So
Once again, you're going to get me off on a different tangent when we start talking about digital filters versus analog filters. I still think analog filters win. If you're trying to make a digital filter sound analog, I still think analog filters
they
win.
do, but the Hydrasynth is pretty damn amazing. So
Yeah, I like it.
and that's all digital.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I just think, like, if you have an option, say you've got 8 voices in a digital synth, like what the Novation Peak did, put analog filters in it. It's not like it's, you know, these boxes are huge. You know, you can fit electronics into them.
Oh yeah, for something like this where it's tiny, they can put a little chip in there and get that right.
Yeah.
Make the cost low still. So
I think what a lot of people are going to be disappointed though with this, and I don't know why they'd be disappointed because of the price, but they'll be disappointed with the way the poly works on it. I don't think really it's a good word. I think paraphonic should be the word.
It's paraphonic.
You're not going to be able to play proper tailing, notes in a sequence. You'll end up having
Overlapping
that
notes
problem
with
with
different long envelopes.
You'll end up that problem where the keys will cut the note off. Same as the Volca keys. It's exactly the same.
Yeah,
In fact, the design of this thing is very, very similar to the Volca keys.
With a couple of cool modern upgrades, such as every single parameter being automatable.
Yep.
Whereas the keys only.
I mean, the Volca keys was based on the Korg 700.
Yeah. And it sounds amazing. I love the sound of the Volca keys.
Yeah.
It's bigger than it sounds bigger than it looks.
All right, there's a few more of these to get through, so let's put on your Behringer hat if you want today, guys. Look, they're releasing products. I don't care if you guys hate Behringer, then go hate them. I don't care. I'm not going to stop you. Yeah. But I think what
hate the company, just hate the main guy.
Some of his practices.
Nobody can say they're not relevant. That's the thing.
I mean, that Cobalt synth that Chris and I have got is incredible. I mean, I know they copied it, but it's friggin' 40 years old. No one's had one for 40 years. It's like, it's like finding, like Jurassic Park where they got the dinosaur DNA out of the mosquito. That's basically what they've done.
Thing of amber.
Anyway, let's go to this one. This is the Swords. Swords. Now, there's a couple that I'm about to show you, and you guys are going to get, they're copying again, they're copying. They're not. There's so many other manufacturers who are doing this mutable instrument clones. These guys are just late to the party. It's a crowded field. It's very crowded.
It's a crowded field of clones.
The thing that I do like about what Behringer do when they do the mutable instruments clones is they're making an effort. They're making an effort. I don't know if I like the design, but they're not boring. They're not just a flat black panel with text on it. They're actually making an effort.
And they had extra functions too, right? Some
of them they do, yeah. Anyway, we've got a video with this one. So the swords, we'll find out which one they're cloning anyway. You guys can check it out. Here it is.
Starts with B.
Probably one of the best stereo analog filter in the eurorack world, with state-of-the-art analog circuitry based on the legendary 2164 semiconductors. Introducing Swords. Swords has two 12 dB state variable filters, continuously morphing from low pass, band pass and high pass. Input overdrive ranging from soft clipping to two-stage wave folding. Filters can be linked together for precise stereo frequency control and spread. With an incredibly musical self-oscillation, you can push the resonance to the limit without compromising the lower frequencies. Every parameter is CV controllable. You can go from smooth and liquid filter tones to aggressive and distorted FM vowel formants or whatever it comes to your mind. You also have complete control over the stereo field thanks to the continuously variable routing from single to parallel and series sound path. Now I'll show you some patches just to give you an idea of what this module can do.
I'm gonna stop it there. Sorry guys, if you want to look at the patches, you're gonna have to check Behringer's video out. This is, if you haven't worked it out, is a clone of Mutable Instruments, which we mentioned before, but this is the Mutable Instruments blades. If you remember what that looks like, I'll bring a photo up actually. You guys want to talk about this one?
It's eurorack.
Does anyone own the
Don't jump
blades?
at the same time.
I didn't. I have to admit, I didn't
That's
know
a
about
small
it.
company that have a picture of Wesley Snipes' blade on the front. So
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is what
It's
it is.
divisive in terms of its
Copy of
visual, but
blades. But like you say,
It looks a lot different to the mutable version though. I'm going to bring it up for you guys so you can see. So the mutable version looks like that. You know, I like the look of the mutable. I mean,
that seemed to be common. I never see many of those around. The blades.
the blades,
Yeah, me
yeah,
neither.
they're around. You can get them still.
They're just not super popular in people's racks.
So no one has them in their cases. I don't see them anywhere. So
That's what I meant.
Does
yeah.
anyone know if there's any difference between the two? I actually don't think there is. I think it's just a
I
pure
can't
one
see
for
any
one.
difference.
now, I
just
must
have
admit,
it-
actually, the
very-
Behringer
I
looks
mean,
a
like,
little
if-
bit easier on the eye, or it just could be the picture.
Yeah, it's a taste thing. I personally find it a bit
Yeah.
repulsive.
I'm not a fan of.
Behringer one.
Yeah, I'm not,
this would be
I don't
a
mean-
dark room
I
that
don't mean
text
the
stands
actual-
out. So
I was never huge into Transformers. So
This is the
the
same
visual
price
style
as the
didn't
previous.
grab me.
So this is the same price as that previous JT Mini. So it's $99 US if you want to get this. By the way, if you don't really understand what they're talking about, it's a dual filter, but you can use it as a stereo filter, and at the same time you can use it to do some other funky things as well. Like, for example, he mentioned it in the video, you can do self-oscillating, like play it like a playable keyboard filter as well. But you can also, I haven't seen it with the Behringer one, but I've seen it with the mutable one where they've patched the filter into itself.
Yeah.
So you can go from
do a
one of the
feedback
filters
loop.
to the other, and then it's also got the drive on top, so you can get really, really crazy distortions.
tones.
Yeah, with this.
Yeah.
By the way, did you notice I fixed the titles? Yay!
Well, hey, well done.
Sorry to disappoint you. There was a product getting like 400 sucks of the salve. I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah,
that was always like an Easter egg for us to see if you have the titles right. So now you ruined it.
I just refreshed it. It's funny about Windows is weird. Like it's got to be something to do with Visual Basic. I think it just does weird crap. Like it just goes to sleep. Next Here's another one. It's called Waves. Waves is a what? People.
The ripples? Is it ripples?
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to check this one out? Yeah, might as well.
Let's
have a look.
Lots of LFOing.
World of synthesis, it's probably fair to say that a function generator may not sound as exciting as a filter or VCO. But this isn't just any function generator. From intricately sculpted LFOs and envelopes to a multi-wave shape VCO, this is an ocean of creative possibilities. Introducing Behringer Waves.
No, wait, it's tied.
So if you're looking for a more unconventional and unique take on the looping AD envelope, then look no further than Waves. Based on the fantastic mutable instruments Tides, it can create precisely crafted LFOs and envelopes and can also be used as a dedicated multi-wave shape VCO. And with its 3 generator modes with AD, AR and looping, and its 4 output modes featuring shapes, amplitudes, timings and frequencies, it makes Waves a very creative and versatile module, adding a new layer of depth to any eurorack setup. So at the heart of the module lies an asymmetric triangle function generator, and that's followed by a wavetable wave shaper, which crossfades between linear, exponential, logarithmic, sinusoidal or arc-sinusoidal shapes, both for the attack and decay segments. Then a second processor applies either a 2-pole low-pass filter to the waveform, softening its edges, or a nice rubbery wave folder adding kinks and bounces to the waveform. There's 3 frequency range modes spanning ±4 octaves, so from low oscillations right through to audio rates. You've got 4 different output modes with a dedicated mode dependent shift control and 3 different envelope modes with AD, attack decay, looping and AR attack release. And you've also got CV inputs and an attenuverter for each control, as well as a volt per octave input, the 4 dedicated outputs with LED feedback, and a trigger and clock input. Now,
there we go. So that's the Waves, which is based on the title. Tides title.
Tides.
Now
Yeah.
the only thing
have
I never liked about the original one was that this is a digital generator.
Envelope generator, yeah.
And I always thought that the analog one. I'm not analog versus digital. I'm not some sort of analog fanboy, by the way. It's just that I get better results with things like make noise maths because it doesn't.
Interesting.
It doesn't do stupid things because the maths can't calculate it. It just keeps going to wherever it needs to go. That's what analog does. So just bear that in mind. And I believe people have had some issues with Tide or Tidal over because of its digital capacity. It's not a very very powerful processor in there. It's only a ARM Cortex, isn't it? I believe it's predecessor. But other than that, it does actually have some cool features, and he mentioned what they were. So the wave shaping and all that sort of stuff is pretty cool. And you can also use it, like he said, as a function generator as well, which is very handy. It's only 14 HP for 3 ARs or AD/AR envelopes.
Yeah.
So how long till they clone marbles?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if
done
that's
that.
next. No, they haven't done
Sure.
marbles.
Yeah,
No,
I thought they had.
don't think so. Don't think they've done marbles. Unless I've missed it. You can check, Daren.
Unless someone else has done marbles, I'm sure someone had cloned marbles.
Yeah.
Just being
Marbles
Oh,
is
the
very...
clones of all that stuff. I have
Marbles
no other
is all
clones.
the
that-
Marbles is
versions.
one of their bigger...
Little bunch of clones.
Marbles is one of the bigger modules, though, out of the mutable instruments range, because it does a lot.
It is big.
Yeah.
And Elements is huge too. I have an Elements and it's big.
Let's go to this one. This is Surges. Surges...
Now this is ripples.
Surges is the
Yeah,
ripples,
it's
okay.
just the single filter, yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah,
just a
which is
filter.
just sat here in front of me.
They're calling it... Behringer call it
multi-modes,
a liquid filter. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything fantastic, but let's have a look.
Just
Using
low
the
pass
same-
filter.
Kind of unique in their
Using
In the
the
arrangement.
same
glorious world of
sound.
synthesis, it's oscillators that usually get most of the spotlight.
We've shown this
And
before,
after
by the
all,
way, guys.
they create the building block of the sound. But when it comes to character, flow, and attitude, it's all about those filters. Based on one of the most liquid sounding modules around, reminiscent of those gorgeous SH and Jupiter filters, introducing Surges. So in continuing our quest to democratize the world of modular and make it accessible to the wider synth community, we're really excited to have a whole bunch of new modules lined up.
But not really, is it? It's not really new modules, is it? Stop marketing bullshit. That pisses me when they do that. It's just be honest and say we are really excited to bring you
They're
a
sleazy,
discontinued, module that
Bring
at
back
a
to
lower
life,
price.
You know,
Yeah,
there's
stop
so many
talking it.
better ways they could say it.
Yeah,
But
I don't like that.
They do fall. They're always going to fall into that trap of self-promotion, which is in our range. This is new. It's very hard. Not
and
to,
they used the
It's
used
very
the
hard
term-
not to do that.
The other term that he used, which I thought was a bit, pompous, was democratized. Democratized.
that's right.
I mean, as if it's like some sort of political regime that Eurorack
It's
is
a
in.
war, Rant. It's a war against the synth Nazis.
The Chinese
It's
emperor
just
is
sweat
in
out
charge
labor in
of all
China,
this.
right?
Inflating
Yeah.
their prices, charging all this money.
That's my new T-shirt, Synth Nazi.
Just be honest. Be honest, and people will respect your honesty. But if you're dishonest, or if you're trying to don't look over here, that sort of tactic, people will go nah. And it's called, we in Australia we call it the sniff test. We go, if it smells like bullshit, it's probably bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, but see, their biggest fans eat that crap up, so it's just.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you noticed that all of those modules had a very similar sort of style and design. This is why I showed you. I know I've shown Surges before, so whoever said, no one said it in chat, but if anyone says it and on the replay, I've shown. So yes, I'm deliberately showing these as a group now because I believe that this is their sort of little collection of a range that they're doing. If you look at the other Behringer modules that they do, like Abacus and which is the Make Noise Maths clone, because they weren't mutable, and also the Brains. The Brains doesn't have these kind of,
It's not the
graphics
same
on
style.
it. No. So for me, I'm just showing you a little collection for you guys if you're interested in them or not.
Yeah, it's kind of
That's fine.
inconsistent. They're now changing their design halfway through or whatever. So.
But they do that. They do that. They also bring out Mark II of a synth after everyone got it, and then they tell everyone, "Oh, oops, we made a hardware mistake in it."
Yeah, they're not afraid to reinvent or just to replace one thing with a better version and unapologetically, really.
Yeah. All right, more news from Behringer. Hang on, before we go there, we'll go back. Sorry, more news from Behringer, and that I might just bring up. You guys get to see the next product anyway, but that's fine. This is news for Daren and anyone else who owns the Pro VS Mini. There's a 2.0.
I've got the pleasure to show you the 2.0 update for Behringer Pro VS Mini.
Now, just a massive big hint there. If you're wondering what inspired them to update the Pro VS Mini, was the fact that they've now released the Behringer Wave. We've shown the Wave before on the show. I don't need to show it again. There is news about the Wave shipping now, so if you guys are looking at that blue beastie synth right there and thinking to yourself, wow, that looks like a cool thing to get, you can order it, I think, now. So, but the inspiration for the firmware has come from the software that they've used to develop the Wave, I believe, anyway, so...
One voice, two voice, three voices, four voices. Oh no, now you've got 5 voices. 5 voices instead of 4. Thanks to this, you can create more complex chords, better harmony, You can play richer now. Let me show you.
It does sound nice, doesn't it? For a little thing.
Yeah. Money.
I've always been a fan of the Pro VS sound.
So 80s.
Yeah.
iPad app sounds great too. Solitary
Now
iPad
we've
app.
got a hold mode in Arpeggiator. How it works? It keeps Arpeggiator running after you release the keys.
Don't drop it.
Let's check this. Let's change the mode in system from the sequence to arpeggio and switch on the arpeggio hold.
It's a massive
Look at
screen,
this.
isn't it, Darren?
Arpeggio is running and now... That's what I like.
Stop it.
With chord mode, you can create instant harmonies. Switch off arpeggio hold for a moment, but switch on the arpeggio chord.
Lick that knob.
And I've got a list of the chords.
See, that's how I play, Darren. Like that. One finger.
Who needs chord shapes?
Yeah, well, that's me. I don't need a big keyboard.
Mum's like
Also, I can use it
ringing
with
me in
this
the morning.
arpeggio
After all those years of piano
hold
lessons. It is a bit of a slow progress to get through this video. I just wanted to show you a few, and then you guys can go check it out. If you do already have a Pro VS Mini, it's worth obviously doing the firmware update because there's a stack of stuff in there. On top of that, if you haven't got one of these things, just go get one. I mean, they're dirt cheap. It's what is it, 160 bucks Aussie, or about 80 pounds, I think it is, to buy one of these.
80, some 89, some.
Oh,
Question for Darren: Is that
they-
joystick? Does it have enough friction in it so it doesn't slide all over the place?
Mine stays put in the
It's-
Victor.
It's okay. I
Hold
wouldn't
it
say
up.
it's the best because
If you mount it like this, would it go boop, just drop down?
If you
Now,
shake it.
now flick it,
kind
Darren.
of.
There you go. Look, it's saggy.
Yeah, there you go.
there you go.
It is
Yeah.
a
It's
bit
saggy.
droopy. Can't last as long
It's
as
not
it
got-
was
It's
when I was
Viagra.
younger.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah, definitely.
No, he's been naughty. Yeah, I'll tell him later. That's okay. Yeah, I know. You're not. Yeah. I know you're watching.
Yeah, the knob just flops.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
caught.
Well, that's enough of Behringer for the week. But I mean, look, they've been busy, and let's talk about it. They're part of the synth community, and there is one more bit of news that came out during the week about Behringer, and that is that they're going to be at NAMM, the Summer NAMM. No, Winter NAMM. Sorry, Winter NAMM. Summer NAMM for us, Winter NAMM for you guys, which is in January. So that may or may not be a good thing, depending on who you are.
Oh dear.
But it's interesting because in previous years they were kind of anti-NAMM. They almost kind of said, we don't want to pay, we don't want to be there, just come to this house up the road. We'll rent a house out, it's cheaper. And now all of a sudden they want to be there. Just bear in mind, the amount of stuff that they've released in the last 4 years is insane. So if they were to open up like a Roland store, like they have in the UK, right? They could do that. You could open up a Behringer store and just have Behringer products. It would be huge. It would be massive. And it's not just synthesizer stuff, of course. It's guitar pedals and all the other stuff that they do, mixers and that. But just in the synth range, it's massive. So they're getting big, guys. If you haven't thought of that already, they're getting huge. Okay. Now, the next range of products I want to talk about, and we're not going to go through this the traditional way where I'm going to show the product and I'm going to do a video and drag it out. I'm just going to sort of introduce you to 3 products, and there's more out there, not that one, the next one. And this, I don't know what that's updated, but anyway, this one here is it's a group of matrix type modules for your modular synth stuff. And the first one we've got is the the Maikshifter, which is by, pronounce that name down the bottom. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Toppobrillo.
Yeah, something like that.
It's Italian.
It's a function generator and a matrix mixer.
Mixer.
Now, what you want to why I'm showing you these things is I've actually got a VCA matrix mixer here, and mine's something that you can't get. Mine's a prototype. I wish the guys that made this would make them because they're actually really cool. But there are some similar products out there. There's one by 4MS that's really good. Sometimes it's hard to get your hands on those though because they don't make them all the time. So anyway, these are a couple of new ones that are out. That's the first one. The purpose of these is that you patch something in and you patch something out, and then you can make something go from somewhere to somewhere else in that grid. Think of it like the pin matrix on the VCS3, but with a few more sort of bells and whistles. This one I liked because it has kind of like a crossfade with CV on the right hand side and down the bottom. So you've got these two crossfaders, which is pretty cool. And doing that with CV, kind of interesting. So that's that one. The next one is a very, very bad photo, but this one is from ADDAC Systems. There's two modules there. That's the that they call this the matrix mixer as well. You need both. The one on the left is basically all potentiometers, and the one on the right is your inputs and outputs. And this one is very, very similar to mine that I've got, where it's it's basically X and Y, and quite intuitively. Right on it. Yeah. The only thing that this doesn't do that mine does, which I think still mine beats, is the fact that I've got a return circuit in mine, which does add another benefit to it. And the last of the three that I wanted to show you is I don't know why it's not showing the photo. It was the previous one. The Afterlate Audio Keanu. Why is that not showing the photo? Is that one of those problems I've got again where they formatted the picture?
Wrong formatted graphic.
Oh, it is. Let me fix it.
WebP.
Yeah, and it slipped through the cracks of show preparation, guys. One sec.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll forgive you.
One sec. We'll do it as a JPEG, shall we?
JPEG.
Alright, let me just bring it into the show this way, the hard way. And then we'll go.
The stuff I sent you is PNGs for later if you have them, so at least they'll open.
So, yeah, that's fine, man. I'll talk to you about that in a sec. Afterlate Audio Keanu, which is literally named after Keanu Reeves because of the Matrix, which I think is pretty cool. Very clever.
Should have really.
Yep.
Shouldn't they have called it Neo? I guess someone's already taken that one.
I think there's a Neo, yeah. Anyway, if you don't know who Afterlate Audio do, these guys actually are pretty cool. These guys do a lot of Ornaments and Crime modules and some other
I have
cool
a bunch
stuff.
of their stuff. That's great.
They're actually really cool.
Yeah, they do some of the clones as well, and the Mutual Instruments stuff, the micro series they do.
They actually make an Elements with light up jacks, which is pretty clever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, when we're talking about these matrix-y type products, this one looks a little different to the others. You might have noticed the others had a little bit more patching inputs and outputs, whereas this one seems to be sort of more function-based, and it is, and it's more like less of a matrix mixer. It is a matrix mixer, but less of a matrix mixer and more of a make noise maths in a way. Let me read this. It's a partnership between Tim Held and Modular Modcast. The Keanu is a standard 4x4 matrix, and it has VCAs on each output and a switch to choose between unipolar and bipolar controls. They've also added modulation sources which are normaled in each channel, so you get some great modulation variety, but you can also mix in your external sources. Channels 1 and 2 CVs are clockable, looping function generators with controls for rise and fall lengths. There's your maths features there. And equipped with end of rise, forward, and trigger outputs, which is cool. So you can use that to trigger other things like starting sequences off and a whole bunch of other things, right? Channels 3 and 4 are meandering voltage sources created by 3 LFOs that are all different frequencies. The 3 CV inputs total to control their individual rates, and you can also add a slew to each channel individually and change the oscillators from square to triangle. And the slew was also applied to the external voltages sent to their channel. It's a 24 HP module, by the way, if you're wondering. $439 US for the Keanu or Keanu. I don't know. Always
Keanu.
Yeah, always.
Say.
I always.
It's a Hawaiian name.
Yeah. Is he Hawaiian or is he Native American?
He's Hawaiian mixed with some other stuff. Yeah.
Okay. The previous one, which I showed before, which
Hawaiian
was
mixed with some other stuff. It sounds like a pizza.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know all the different variations, but I'm mixed with some other stuff too. Everyone is, right? So
mixomatosis. Okay, that one there, the ADDAC systems is 340 euros. I don't know if that 340 euros includes the expansion module. But one thing I forgot to mention is that you can buy. So see the thing on the left. You can buy 2 of those and use the one expansion on the right. And you can then even further expand it and have a second row underneath. So you can have what is it? 2, 4, 5 by 5.
6, yeah.
So it's 10. Is it 10? 6 by 6.
Well,
so it's a 6 by 6.
6 by 6.
So you can have 12 by 12 if you connect them all together. Collect them all. Yeah. So that's the ADDAC system. It is also stereo. That's the other thing about it as well. The only thing I'll warn people about is sometimes ADDAC system stuff can be a little bit convoluted to use. So then again, the first time you used a VCS3, you were probably scratching your head going,
yeah.
Right? So it's not the end of the world. You can work it out. But anyway, so matrices or matrix mixers are really, really cool in Eurorack land. And even guys who don't use Eurorack, you can buy these things and put them in a separate pod, and you can bring line level amplifiers and things into them, and you can use them with your desktop modules and all that sort of stuff. And actually, they're really, really cool. Daren, you've got something that you got, was it last year, from an Aussie guy that was kind of like a a desktop sort of switchy thing?
Oh, isn't that from
patch now?
Yeah, from is it AF Audio?
DF Audio.
Audio.
So these are Aussie guys.
Yeah,
So
he sent me a thing to look at. Yeah.
So that's like a patch bay, right? So the reason why I'm showing you guys, getting Daren to show you guys this, it's these things that I showed you with Eurorack are not patch bays. Okay, they are control and audio based routing, so it's different. So these, I mean, technically these are audio routing as well, but they're passive in that way, aren't they, Daren?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's definitely passive. That.
Yeah, it's a good guy. He's Doug at DF.
Yeah.
Like I've got a little expression slider that he sent me to review at some point, and he's working on something else.
I like that.
He was telling me. Yeah.
Now, what I can do is I'll show you.
Bangkok, apparently.
Not much point in like selling this thing because you can't. But this is mine.
Bangkok and not Mongkok, right? So.
Yeah.
Let's get this up. PTZ, is that connected? Okay, can we zoom in? Why is it not zooming? That's moving, but that's not zooming. Does that zoom?
No zoom for you.
Yeah, why no zoom for me? Did I hit a button?
You locked the zoom.
Weird.
That feature expired. You have to pay the subscription. So
I'll do it that way. I'll do it by mouse.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's fuzzy.
Yeah, it'll focus in a second. That looks quite clear. So this is it here.
That's good.
And what it is, it's a 4x4 VCA matrix, but with a twist, and that is that it actually has mono sends and returns. So it's kind of like a mixer, but it acts like a VCA in a weird way. And to give you an example, what I'll do is I'll patch our illustrious strike FET through it, and each one of these knobs is controllable to ascend and return. So the benefit of this is that your send may not be the return. Okay, so you might send something out and it might go through a convoluted bunch of patches in your system somewhere and come back in as something else. So it doesn't have to be, I'm going to this Erica BBD module and then coming straight back in again. It might not be as simple as that. You might want to send and return through a different route. So that's the cool thing about it. So if I turn everything off and I just leave this is the fourth row here, if you can see that one is on, and these are my master return mixers. Okay, so I've got spring reverb here. You'll hear that pipe up in a sec. There you go. You heard the hiss there. This is the BBD. The second one is the BBD from Erica, which is just up here. And if I play something, hear it sound a bit sickly. That's this doing. So the other cool thing about this is then you can mix it with other things like a phaser. And you can back the BBD out. Spring reverb. And you can turn everything off. So that's kind of what VCA matrices do. And what I liked about this one is all the connections are all up the top, so they're out of your way. And the great thing about those connections is that I use the tendrils because they sort of hide behind the knobs. And all I've got is basically just controls here, and it's right next to my mixer as well. So that's what your matrices are doing, and I just thought I'd show you guys some that have just sort of come out in the recent times, and it's interesting.
So is it Rant? It's kind of sounds like you could kind of describe it as sort of like a 4-channel 4 auxiliaries ends. So you can send 4 items in and have them go out to 4 different auxiliary effects in different mixtures and levels.
Yep.
And then those knobs on the right hand side of return. So it kind of extends a mixer.
It extends a mixer. It's a bit like the Hex mix, how it's got something similar.
That's a Bafako one.
The Bafako one. The only thing is, these guys, this is a prototype, when they were building it, they were going to expand it and give you the CV control for the VCA.
Yeah.
So that then you can then put an envelope through or some sort of modulation through. And then on top of that, they were going to add some sort of slew and function based features with it, because that sort of comes part and parcel with attenuverters and things like that. So at the moment, those potentiometers are standard level potentiometers, so they're just level based, which you do get on a VCA, right? So for this thing to expand, you would have another potentiometer, which would be your CV amount, from 0 to max, whatever the voltage is, and then you would have your attenuverter as well. So you'd actually end up with 3 knobs per channel, which would just make this thing huge. But that's possible. I guess they could do that in the future. But anyway, that is that. Matrices are your friend.
It's like having a send return mixer that with extra goodies.
Yeah, I mean,
Effect
for me,
sends and stuff.
that's the purpose that this is using. For some of those other ones that I showed, they've got some other purposes as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Patch and tweak.
Patch and tweak, exactly. Right. We are going to continue on with the show. By the way, Chatties, don't forget, I did promise you during the show that I'd post some links in so you guys can get yourself available to some of the parts of the show. Let me just get my checklist up. So, if you want to join us on Zoom, there's the Zoom link. If you want to do a TTS through Streamlabs, which is that cool thing that does the text to speech, there's that link, and I'll just pin that one to make that one more permanent. And there you go. So you got the Zoom link. If you ever need the Zoom link, do sing out. I can just paste it in whenever you need it. The other thing too is if you want to ask me a question, the best way to get my attention is to do a super chat or a TTS. That's the easiest way because it's gonna interrupt the show, and that's what you want. But you can just highlight my name, I guess, if that's what you want to do. Right. Next segment is brought to us by Andy because he did all the work, and I just sat on my fat ass and.
It was overdue. I haven't sent you any for a long time, so.
Here we go. Now I'm going to bring Andy's voice in for this. So Andy, tell us about this particular baby here.
I just put this in here because it's just so outrageously priced. I didn't click through all the pictures to see the whole layout.
Would you say it's a scam?
And technically it's not really a synth, right? But it's
Did this get your attention?
Well, it certainly did, Kent. It interrupted the show. Thank you, mate.
There you go. So I've actually never seen a clavinet in person, but I can't imagine someone is spending this much on anyone, even if Stevie Wonder actually licked it or something. So, yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well, it's live. It's on Reverb. It was in US dollars, and now it's in Australian dollars, so you can see how much the world's ripping us off. $410,000. You could probably buy a house in Australia for that. Not a great one, but definitely one that would be, I'd say, Chris, you'd be reasonably happy. Like a couple of, 3 bedrooms. You'd be happy. It might not be the greatest suburb in the world, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think, for 400 grand, I think Archaic Audio could send it to me.
Yeah, I like the store name. Archaic Audio is funny, so that's.
I think he could send it to me for that sort of money, and he could accompany it on the plane as well.
Yes.
I don't think it would be too much to ask. No, not for that sort of money. I think you might have hit the scam territory on that one, Buds. Well done.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yep, done well.
What's a clavinet worth?
Not that. Yeah. Next one is over to you, Andy.
Yeah, now these are getting crazy prices. I had a chance to get one of these, a white model of these at Guitar Center used many years ago.
I could have got one for
about
$3,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw like
$3,000.
$3,000 for a white used one, like the rare one, right?
Yeah.
Something that Ty Oman would go crazy over, and I didn't have the money, but this is just insane, right?
But they're not that amazing. That's the thing.
No, but I like the patch bay, and they still have the cool touchpad, which I always wanted a Voyager with the touchpad.
Now this is a live eBay jobber, so I'm going to say my usual thing, Andy, when it comes to these things, and that is lack of photos is buyer beware. There's only 2 photos on this.
Yeah.
But he has shown a photo of it sitting in
He's
a
got
box.
the box. Yeah, look at that.
So that might be okay.
It's new, but
that's a
funny thing
blurry
about
photo.
that touchpad too. I was talking to some Moog person at one point, and they said Prince actually wanted a Voyager with a purple touchpad, and because of the nature of the material they make the touchpad out of, they can't make it purple.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting.
The
funny.
This looks like a stock image.
It does.
Right?
doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say that's a stock
Definitely.
image, and that's the only
Yeah.
image that he's provided, possibly.
Yeah, man.
But I would even say, you know,
Yeah, so much work to take a few pictures, right? You know.
13 grand US is yeah. Where's my little thing? Where is it?
Telling me, dream.
There it is.
There
Yeah.
you go.
All right, what's next?
This is nuts too. Look at that. That's scammy.
Oh,
Yeah.
F off.
I misread it then.
I'm going to be pressing
no,
that
wait,
button a
oh,
few
yeah.
times. This one might bring the police in, and the lawyers.
Their stories.
I like the little quote too. Since it's a used item, there are scratches and dirt, but it's working. It better be working for $13,000.
You get more use out of this than a Voyager, I'd say.
Oh, I have a Nordly too. I love the Nord stuff.
It's got more voices. It's I know it's digital
Yep.
and everything, but
Soft spot in my heart for these.
there's a lot of the thing that's good about these is there's a lot of knob per function on this.
Yeah, those LED rings are kind of cool.
Yeah, they're the chaser rings,
Yeah,
so
kinda
that
like
you
those
know
ones.
where you've set your patch, and then you can
Exactly.
catch it up. Which is that thing.
And
that
you got
you're
the
into right
quirky
now,
Nords
Chris.
with the wooden thumbstick and the little like
Yeah.
stone wheel that the modulation wheel is like stone or something like that.
Guys, I've never ever heard of a power supply called a slow blow, but maybe that girl that was on at the Ford Cortina.
I know all about it. Yes.
Well, I've used slow blow fuses and things, so it is
I
a
don't
real
know.
thing. So
You could have a lot of fun with 100 volts, but not that kind of fun.
it's more medium pace, not slow. So it's
Jeez. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's slow blow fuse, isn't it?
Yes, I know it is,
Sorry.
boys.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But-
Rans, it's slow blow fuse, man. I've
Yes,
got one on
I
the
know.
adult case.
I know.
he
Darren.
was trying to tie the segments together. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got, Andy?
I can't remember. Oh yeah, this guy. Now Kent can answer this. One of two only made. I mean, come on, really?
What are they? PPG made some realization that this was a shit design. That's what it is. What the hell is this thing? I've never.
Well, it's
ever
like
heard of this.
it's an updated wave term, whatever they called it, right? What was the wave computer that went with it,
Yeah.
or something like that? I don't know. I'm not sure.
One of the
But it
guys
dropped
in-
$10,000.
One of the guys in
So-
chat saying there was only two ever
Yeah.
made. This is on Reverb. Big city music, eh? I mean, you just go and buy the Behringer now, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay, it doesn't.
deal with
It
all
doesn't have
floppy
the
disks.
floppy
But
drive.
it does look cool.
I'm happy
That
to
is a
send
cool
you a
look to it.
floppy drive if you really want one. I've got a 5 1/4 sitting around here doing nothing.
I was going to say, it's a big 5 1/4.
Yeah. They're real floppies, aren't they, Darren?
Yeah, they're
Put your
proper
floppy
floppy.
disk
What's
in.
in three- what's
Proper
it, 3.5?
floppies.
Flop.
I mean, you were showing your floppy knob before, but that's a proper floppy, that one.
Yeah, it's from everybody.
Yeah, that's definitely proper.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to talk about flop, the capacity of floppiness,
Bit of faders.
yeah.
Proper faders. Proper keypad.
It's in good condition.
Used in security systems around the world.
It's got a graphic panel. Wonder what that does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that still works.
Is there any pictures of this actually turned on?
Yeah, exactly.
I like all the stuff hanging out of the bottom there.
Yeah, well, it's
that?
definitely designed to
Oh,
go
nice.
go on that stand
Yeah.
where the rest of the computers go.
No, nothing of it turning on. So it probably doesn't even work.
I
What does
probably
the
don't even
listing
have a
actually
power
say?
supply.
The monitor doesn't work.
£10,000.
We had a
price
technician look at
like
it, and it found that the
$10,000.
power supply for the monitor is bad.
Yeah. That's
So I'm going to spend 200,000 Australian dollars for something that doesn't work.
Well, it's a rare item. It's a museum piece.
Hang on,
Telling me, dream.
I had to do it.
I think people sometimes, you know, they know that people like to sort of DIY, do things themselves, and they're quite happy to repair them, but they don't realise that they're not the same people who are dumb enough to pay that price. They're usually people who are smart enough to to repair something. They're usually smart enough not to hit the buy button when you're asking that much.
Well,
watch. I bet it shows up at Kent's one of these days. Fix it.
Now, I knew these things would start to fetch stupid prices because
nuts.
When he first made them, I knew that there was only going to be a few made, and it was only a few. Like we're not talking thousands either, are we? I think he only made. Someone will tell us in the chat. I don't think he made thousands.
Yeah, I don't remember how
many. But this was a really convoluted analog synth, and really this was kind of like. I remember it was kind of like it was way before the Moog 1 came out, so this was kind of like the. You know, everyone was saying, "Oh, Andromeda A6." You know, why don't they make another one like better and blah blah blah, and a really big flagship polysynth that's analog. And these guys made it, and it was, you know, it had its issues, that's for sure, but it was pretty amazing sounding, and I don't know. Then came the Moog 1, a lot cheaper.
And you can change the color of the LEDs with a little dial, so that's pretty fancy.
That is pretty fancy. Yeah, they're not. I wouldn't say they're ultra rare, and I wouldn't say it's from the 70s and 80s either, because it was made in 2015. Yeah. Anyway, I've never actually played one myself because I don't think there has even ever been one shipped to Australia. So. But it is on Reverb if you want to buy it. There it is there.
I think by the time I was going to NAMM regularly, they stopped showing up at NAMM, so I haven't had a chance to play one either.
This one's going to ship in a massive, huge crate.
Wow.
That's a nice crate.
Yeah.
Purple.
Well, that
Look
Prince
at the
would have
purple
been happy with that.
Ooh, yeah.
Bit late now for Prince. He's
there you go, Daren.
Yeah.
That'll be happy. He'll make him happy.
He's pushing up daisies now, the old Prince.
Exactly,
but,
that's perfect purple.
Yeah. Oh, it's got a nice screen. Yes, lovely. Very lovely indeed.
Purple LEDs, look at that.
All those knobs, though. I couldn't.
That's a lot of knobbage, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of knobbage. I mean, we can't get enough knobbage. Let's be honest. We can't get enough.
I think that's a prime example of a modular system that Robbie would like, where everything is patched behind the panel.
Well, it's Christmas coming up, right, guys? And a lot of you guys.
You see Jamie's comment? It needed 2 people to lift it.
Yeah, I've just seen it. Yeah.
You'll have some. You'll have some quiet days over the next few weeks, and if you do get bored, one of the things that you could do for fun is count how many knobs you've got in the studio, and you know, those with the most knobs. Anyway,
I win.
Including the one sat in the chair.
I was going to say, I win.
Yeah.
Voila.
You've got boxes of them.
Yeah.
I've got a.
This sitting there loose in the drawers doesn't count.
Many subs.
They've got to be on a synth.
For breakfast.
Chris. Valdorf Q Phoenix Edition. Andy, tell us about this one.
So I just thought it's funny because when they came out with the Phoenix thing, it was just a window dressing, right? It's the same thing. As far as I know, it's the same exactly as the Q keyboard. I have a micro Q, so it's a subset. I know. I think Wagyu has the Q rack, so it's the bigger version of the micro Q, the yellow, with all the actual controls on it.
Yep.
So I love the Q. All the Waldorf wavetable stuff's great, but these are getting up there because I've never seen one this expensive. You know, this is getting a little ridiculous. This is like more than a Quantum, and it's way less powerful than a Quantum.
So this has analog filters on it. So these guys are after my heart. This actual synth.
Oh yeah, the old stuff. The original microwave had analog filters. It's amazing. But I have a Waldorf XT, the microwave XT, and it's all digital.
So this is a Q plus. I just don't know what the Phoenix means.
The Phoenix was the window dressing. It went from yellow to this Phoenix coloration, dark with the reddish trim around the screen.
Dark with red. Okay. Is that all it was? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been something
It's
related.
like maroon color.
Yeah. I mean, 5K...
Nah, that's the Phoenix. Yeah.
5K is kind of okay. I don't think this one's kind of in scam territory. I think that's okay. It's probably what it's worth. I don't know if I'd buy it, but it is on the Reverb.
Yeah.
If you want to get it. That's that one. And there's another Waldorf, I believe, coming up, which is this one.
Yeah, it's still working.
The Wave.
Kent loves these. He had one in his garden for a while. So.
Yes, I thought I recognised that. It looked a bit more.
Because once they die, right?
Had a few too many spiders in it. Yeah.
This is the same guy that's got the Schmidt.
Yeah, Synth Freak.
Yeah.
He's a Synth Freak.
He's in Germany.
He loves the check marks. They're really annoying check marks in the titles.
Yeah.
Is 29 grand US, 29.5 grand, is that a lot of money for a Waldorf Wave? I mean, let's be scratching our head and be honest, right? When you know this thing could die any second.
It's a lot of money for any synth, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I don't think the average people who would buy one would know that. They don't know about the fact that they're so risky. They're so on the edge, like an Andromeda.
Yeah. Is that the same photo before?
Huh?
Yeah, use the same photo.
What? Yeah, it's the same photo.
Same crate photo. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
What?
Because he ships in the same crates for every synth. So
Well, if he wants to ship me a Wave and accidentally ship me a Schmidt at the same time, I'm okay with that.
But this is, this thing is cool. It's a testament to Axel Hartmann's design. I mean, he just makes really cool stuff.
I just remember. Look, I'm not gonna make any friends by saying this, but I just remember when those things came out. I looked at them and I thought, nah, fuck that. It was just, it was just way it's like a dream, like I'm never going to own a synth like that. Kent's waiting in iPad land. Let me just bring Kenty boy in.
Andromeda A6.
He can talk about his Wave that he had.
Felt the same way.
I think he didn't. All right, let's pop him into the bottom right corner. He's scratching his head because I've taken so long to put him in. That's what he's done.
Scratching his head.
There he is.
As long as he hasn't lost all his hair.
Hey, buds.
Hey, Ken.
I was trying to make my hair look tidier, but I think I might have wasted my bloody time, basically. No.
You've got a bit of a halo around you at the moment, mate.
Yeah, the backlighting helps make your hair glow. So
very angelic.
I am. Oh, yeah. I thought. This section of the show is just screaming out for a professional expert, so I thought I'd come in.
So why did you join? No.
Tiny wasn't here.
Actually, before we go into anything, can we all just wish you a happy birthday?
Oh yeah, happy birthday!
Happy
I'm
birthday!
now officially dead.
Yeah.
Yes. Hope you had a good one, mate.
Yes. Congratulations on your death certificate.
Yeah, we won't go into that. But thank you nonetheless. Yeah.
I think he's officially an antique, isn't he? Right, the right age for an antique.
Yeah. Are you going to find me up on eBay next game?
Yes. Special anniversary edition.
I know this guy. He's a customer.
German.
Synth Freak.
Yeah. The Schmidt and the Wave have both been here. He sneaked them in with a CS80, the bastard. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let him. And yeah, they're all right. They're cool. Are they worth that money? If somebody wants it bad enough, yeah. But buying a Waldorf Wave is the equivalent of going, I'm going to put this gun to my head and let my 4-year-old decide whether to pull the trigger or not.
Yeah, it's roulette, isn't it?
Yeah.
Other than the Wave actually dying on you, what's the typical repair on a Wave? What would you have to do for it?
There isn't a typical repair. They die.
There isn't.
And then you throw them away.
You put them in the garden.
No, seriously.
What did you do for his? How did you fix his?
What goes? No, well, his one is with the service. A couple of pots were a bit scratchy. That was it. That's all it had. And I went, oh, all right, then bring it through. Otherwise, it would have been a case of, no, mate.
Thanks.
The voice cards, forget it, you can't get the IC. It was never finished because there's a load of sequencer buttons at the bottom for the sequencer that it doesn't have. There is no sequencer in it, but the buttons are there ready when the sequencer happens, but it never did. Which is just as well, because it could be something else to fall over and put it in. The
Schmidt was cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd rather get a Schmidt than a Wave.
Well, you technically you're putting yourself into exactly the same skip if you get the Schmidt as well.
So they're hard to repair, are they?
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's not used to. I remember when he made the Schmidt, he used all discrete circuitry.
Well, yeah, but I mean, some of the components involved were, shall we say, a little esoteric, and some were, where the hell did you get one of them from? Kind of thing. You know, end of line stuff.
Yeah.
You know. So
and
things seem to run out quicker
you have
now.
to have a second Schmidt.
Yeah. So
Donor
I mean,
Schmidt.
Electronics that is manufactured, say, in the last 20 years, will run out quicker than the electronics that they were making 40 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Their lifespans are shorter. So even though you go, oh, well, you know, it's only 15 years old, you can probably still get a few of those ICs. And went, no, they didn't make enough of them to support
in the
a lot
first
of.
place.
Fair enough.
So when it breaks, you say, who gives a Schmidt, and throw it away?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So. And
well, I mean, you're going to be driving it home in the back of your Lambo anyway if you're buying this. Oh, what happened to Kent?
Oh, he's still there.
Try again,
What?
Kent. Your audio just went for a sec. It's fixed now, though. I don't know what happened.
This new internet. Oh God.
No, I don't think it's your end. I think it might be this button I've got to press here.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. It's my end. It's my end.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Don't worry.
Big mute button.
No. There's
did that
a
to me last
in
week.
vMix. No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Your situation was this controller. This particular situation, there's an audio follow button on vMix, which is if I go to a full screen of you like that, and then I go away from you and the audio follow is enabled, it will turn your audio off after I've left you.
Yeah.
So I've just disabled that now, so your audio should be working.
Oh, I see. I get it. I get it. Cool.
Video crap.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm just slightly distracted because Lily's missing, which means something is being destroyed somewhere.
Uh-oh.
Dear. Uh-oh.
Mate, I'll tell you what, one thing, you and I have got in common is that our love for our dogs is huge, and, when you go through the shit that I went through this week, you just really find out how much they mean to you. They are freaking amazing, members of the family.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was. Oh, it's all right. Oh, she's hiding in your handbag. All right, cool. Yeah, it's like when my old dog Max got bone cancer, and I would be sitting out in the garden in all sorts of weather in the swimming pool, giving him water therapy. In a pair of and it was like, oh God, how much longer? I'm so cold. I'm so cold. I'm so cold. And you got to sort of like just help him move around in the water and stuff like that. But you do that kind of stuff.
You do, yeah.
For the dogs.
They know it. They know it, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Very empathic dogs.
It all went very dark. Whoa.
Nah.
Let's talk about more interesting things like what the hell was that bloody thing you had up earlier? The
PPG thing?
PPG realizer?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been here.
Is it?
Oh.
CRT doesn't work.
How is it different than the normal wave term computer thingy? What's special about it?
A lot of it had to do with a visualization, but it was more portable. So it literally was the portable part of the waveterm.
Okay.
It was like a remote, for want of a better word. So the idea was that the the flashy keyboardist had his Fairlights and PPGs all over the place, and that sat on top of his PPG. His wave tone could stay in the rack or even off stage, so people could have a table with it.
Yeah,
and
so
you got all
the wave term
this
that's added to that
as a remote. Yeah, and that's what that was all about.
Okay.
And it's all pretty solid, apart from the screen, which was cheap and awful.
But only 2 made? That's wild.
I think it was because it was towards PPG going, oh, bye.
Ah, yes.
Do you guys see that documentary? I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's South Africa has just about all of the world's CRTs. They ended up like getting chucked on ships and they ended up down there. So all the cathode ray tube type monitors and TVs ended up in South Africa and they're using them for recycling and parts and rating them for bits and pieces and trying to make gold out of them and things like that. So you might find the screen in South Africa.
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me in the least, because I mean, I think it's Retrovic has nearly all of the CMOS 4019 ICs for some bizarre reason. So if you need a 4019, your CS80, I have to order them from Retrovic. What the hell is that about?
Someone bought them all up.
It's just they bought loads and we've got nothing to put them in. I'll put them in a drawer.
Well, some call it hoarding,
Yeah.
I call it future fun.
What the hell? Yeah, I mean, most of that stuff that you showed, yes, massively overpriced.
Yeah, scammy. That's what I like to see. Well done, Andy, for finding all that stuff this week. That's played well.
Yeah, that move looked weird. Yeah.
The Honer.
It was fun, yeah.
The other one was that Honer. The model
the Honer was
clavinet.
Clavinet, yeah.
That's just a piss take, days.
That is a complete PI.
I mean, it's a clavinet, for God's sake. You know, it's pencil erasers hitting bloody white. It's thing.
It didn't even have any provenance. There was no like famous name attached to it or anything. It was just overpriced, right?
I reckon someone's found it in a dump.
Yeah. All right, it is in terms of its model. It is an early one. I grant you, but that's all. But even in a museum wouldn't go. Yeah, no, we're not dying to have one of them. Thank you, and especially not at that price. So, I mean, there's a bit of weirdly, I think it's one of John Lennon's piano, and it's the leg from John Lennon's piano.
Oh, I remember that. They saved the leg.
This conversation.
And it's been
the white piano.
Yes, the white piano, and it's been
the one that you played Imagine on.
Yeah.
Oh, people would pay for that.
Unloading it from a truck and they snap the leg off it. Or actually both front legs, if I believe. £280,000. I think it's going up at Sotheby's for in January.
Jeez.
Something like that.
Seriously.
It's a piece of wood with a caster on the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you imagine. Imagine the guy who has enough money to just buy a piano leg for that much.
Yeah. I mean, Christ almighty. I mean, Long John Silver's going, I've got a few quid here, mate. So, but there is some stuff going up in January at Sotheby's. It's just the prices would make your mind melt. I mean, just ridiculous prices.
Yeah. Well,
so, if you've ever heard of anybody spending £500,000 on a mic preamp,
$500,000.
One.
Well, how much did that guy spend on that banana that was tiptoe?
Oh, the banana.
Wasn't that $500,000?
And he ate
it.
I mean,
we're getting into.
I understand why you ate it though, because it would have just gone off. But what else are you going to do with it? You might as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just completed the art.
Broken the flow. You were looking at scammy ones, weren't you?
We finished. The last one was the Valdorf.
Yeah. So excellent timing from me yet again.
Yeah.
tune in again next week, guys.
I don't know what you're worried about. I think it's fine what you're doing.
Am I padding?
We're not professional.
Because you have all this insight, Kent. I mean, it's actually very valuable. Jokes aside. So.
I've got a question for you, Kent, actually. Would you fix a Mellotron?
Wasn't me. A Mellotron?
But would you fix a Mellotron? Yeah.
No, I would give it to somebody that I know who is experienced and professional at repairing them.
I've got a mate who's he's looking to buy a Mellotron. It's in Japan. What's the best way? Should he dismantle it and have it brought over? Or, I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Find out.
I'll ask him and I'll drop you a message.
On what
are we talking about the original or are we talking about the digital?
No, it's an original.
Oh, okay.
Apparently,
okay.
It's 15 grand, which seemed quite reasonable.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
If it's
Does it come with a bunch of tape libraries or just one set?
Yeah, it's got two. It's got an extra set of libraries with it. I think he said.
Nice.
And it's in Japan.
He's seen it. He's seen and played it, but and then they offered him for him to buy it, and he's seriously considering it, but he doesn't know quite how to get it from Japan.
Does he know who previous owner was?
I don't know. I'll ask him. I will ask him. I'll drop him a message.
Yeah, ask him
and find out. Yeah.
I can't remember who I was talking to about it now. You think a lot of Tomita's records, when you listen to them, you're going, hang on a minute, the Moog's monophonic. There's an absolute bucket load of Mellotron on it. Because what he's doing is taking the Moog and recording it onto the Mellotron and then being a polyphonic.
Oh, wow.
That's smart.
He did say it was some Japanese comedian. Don't ask me how that works out.
I don't know how many jokes Tomita did.
Yeah.
Well, there's some wacky.
I'll find out. Drop you a message.
That might be the joke.
Tomita's
paying 15
I did say that I was going to. He only lives half an hour from me, and I said, "Well, when you get it, I'm coming around with my video camera and I'll film it."
They do have that habit.
Hey, Ken, I always wondered on the Mellotrons, did the tapes jam like they did on a standard tape deck? Did they get ripped up and jammed a lot?
Oh, they could jam or tear, and then you push a key and there's bugger all there. That would happen.
Right. But not as much as a cassette recorder would or whatever, right?
No,
they were thicker, aren't they? They've got cautionary tape on there.
Yeah. It took a long time to put a patch together, shall we say?
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of tape loading.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether he did it himself or he had an assistant or something.
We used to whinge about getting samples on the Volca sample.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is sampling with the gloves on.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I have an update. So during the week, I got an email from Feedback Modules about the Touchable and the Touch. I showed you guys these last week on the show. And it also incorporates a little bit of information about another reason why you'd want to have the plus 18 dB module as well. So he's actually done a user manual for this now. The information that he's put in the user manual, there were two things that I got out of it that we didn't already know. One was that if you use it with the plus and minus 18 dB module, when you're combining sources to destinations of voltage on this, you may need to increase the gain.
Oh, right.
So I've patched something up to this. I've patched a sine wave into here, and I've patched a noise, which is a digital noise sound, into there, and then I've got the output going into the 18 dB, and the bottom gain, and that's going into the data so we can actually see what's going on here. So if I was to press this, nothing would happen. And then I was to press this next to it, there's the output. So that's the noise output, and then you can attenuate that noise using that. So that's the whole point of that module there. But then on top of that, you can actually combine. So then I can bring the sine wave
use
in.
it as a mixer. Yeah, makes sense.
So now I've got a sine
It's
wave.
just a passive mixer.
Yeah, it's a passive mixer, which also helps when you... If you just have the sine wave, I think that's it there. And you can speed these up. You can see the sine wave there. So how that sounds, it's not going to sound magic or anything like that, but I can bring that in to you guys. So there's the sine wave, and now the noise. And that's just going into the filter through one of the CV inputs here. So I thought that was quite an interesting update that he's given me. I didn't realize you could mix, and it's obviously you can mix. But on top of that, you can also touch. This is actually a this touch
source
one here is plus and minus voltage. So obviously the green being plus and the negative being minus, red being minus, of course. So you can actually then also touch, these things and use them as triggers, right? Negative and positive, and it will trigger. You can see it triggering on the data. You can see it's very, very subtle there, but it's triggering. So you can combine the touch with other modulation sources. So you can touch that and that and that.
Yeah.
And then you get negative and positive. See, that's changing by changing that there. So there's an interesting kind of
offset,
interesting kind of sort of ideas with control voltage there. And I know I mentioned this to you guys last week. I know, Andy, you're someone that likes a lot of that palatable sort of hands-on, touchy-feel sort of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
You can even simulate a joystick with that thing without all the moving parts. Nothing to break or get smashed. So.
Yeah. One thing I do like about that touchable though is I think the layout is actually quite clever, because a lot of those sort of CV type touchpad things aren't really in that sort of format. Like if I go back to it again, the layout you've got is kind of, it's flexible. So I mean they're saying in the manual, by default the top one is the source and the bottom one's the destination, and out of each of these, top source, bottom destination, top source, bottom destination, right? But you don't have to. You don't have to do it that way, because all that is that's just electrically connected to that pad. So you can do whatever you want with it. But I thought that was kind of clever, because then you can then internally patch. So you can go, okay, well I want that sine wave coming out of there, and then I can also send that to another pad as well, or I can double jack it using double jacks.
So they're normaled. So they are normaled to jacks as well.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's like, it's kind of, because it's all passive, it's flexible. You could put audio in it too, which is what that noise is. It's audio, right? So I just thought it was pretty flexible in that sense. Still don't have, he said in the email that he doesn't have these up on the site yet. Still don't have prices for these yet. I have a feeling these are going to be pretty popular, because I can see.
I'd like it if it had like a version 2 version of that, where it was done with, in the sex toy edition. You have that kind of rolling rise.
You mean it needs the
rubber.
Squishy? Yeah, it needs the squishy tactile.
That'd be nice.
Flesh.
Because
It needs the flesh
if
edition.
you had, if you had the rubbery lumps, shall we say, on it, you can do finger roll and mixing the various bits together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean you can just buy a rolly.
True.
No.
Why? What's wrong with that?
Hey, perverts want to use modular too, so
Yeah,
I mean,
There's a hole in the
should
middle.
cater for all
Hang
tastes.
on, no, wait a minute.
No, wait.
No.
So the Rolly C body is just a sex toy. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Rubbery
well, when you put them
lumps.
together, then yeah.
He said rubbery
I think
lumps.
synthesizers and sex.
Yeah, rubbery lumps.
They always-
Yeah.
So Ranzee, if you put if you use a stackable or a split on that, you're gonna drop voltage obviously because it's passive.
Yeah, correct, and that's what this 18 dB gain can give you. So
Right.
as I was showing before, when I was bringing that noise in, I can back that gain right off to 0, right, and then I can scoot it right up to 18 dB. Which is huge. From a control voltage point of view, that's huge. Technically, you could create a sample and hold in here if you were clever enough.
Yeah.
With patching in and out, you can create a sample and hold.
The only scary thing with that module that boosts it is some modules are very sensitive to that, and you could do some damage.
Oh yeah. Generally speaking, though, if you look at the specs, so in this particular case, this filter here I was going into goes up to 10 volts on the CV inputs, so 10 volts PP, which
it's pretty common. It's pretty common now to have protection, undervolt and overvolt protection. I know I put it on all my inputs.
I mean, maybe some of the older Deptford ones don't, just like they don't have the shrouded headers, so you might just blow up a bunch of stuff. So you just gotta be careful with that stuff.
You just
gotta know your specs.
Aware.
Yeah. Anyway, those things are kind of interesting in that sense, because when you've got people who like to do these EMOMs and they want to perform and things like that, especially now that they're getting the cameras over on them on the gear and they're putting it up on the big display.
You want to see something happening.
You want to see something happen. If they're sort of mucking around with these, with like my little Planet 2 joystick or the touch pads here, and they've got sort of things being triggered, that's cool. I mean, I always look back at things like Laurie Anderson when she did her live performances in the 80s, and she had the MIDI tie. And,
very physical.
It was kind of...
Well, she had the original drum pants. I mean, she was hitting stuff on her body and stuff and triggering stuff.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I dig that stuff, yeah.
So, I feel like for those people who do want to perform, make their performances interesting, and these sort of products are really, really cool. There's nothing rocket science about them. It's just more, is it going to give you sort of the things that you want? I mean, Daren, you don't use eurorack in your EMOMs. Yours is all sort of MIDI based, isn't it?
It is at the moment, yeah. It's funny you should talk about eurorack, because just in front of me I've got my Nifty case from off there, and I'm rearranging the Nifty case. I'm getting a little bit of my eurorack going.
Good
and
boy.
I may even be buying a eurorack module.
Well, you're allowed.
Wow. For Christmas.
Wow.
I don't know. It's not going to be an expensive
one. Sorry, I'm afraid they're not ready yet. But, oh, no, not me. Okay. I understand. I guess we know where
Behringer module, but you can't have it for 6 months.
I'm always impressed with the fact that Daren's setup never changes. It never changes.
It has. Have you not noticed?
With how it's set up.
It has slightly changed. It has slightly changed.
Ken, you're not watching properly. It's an Easter egg. It's changed.
It's
Look
changed
very carefully.
Yeah,
no.
It definitely has.
Yeah,
it's not one of those spot the difference.
You have to do it. You have to do a where's Wally.
I don't.
Where's the 3S move?
It's changed from last week.
The Electron thing. Yeah, the Electron thing up there.
He's still
the modal set.
Yeah, and he's still got the cloth over that thing that he doesn't want to show us either.
Yeah.
Yeah, this here. Yes.
And that hasn't always been there.
Harmonica. Yeah.
Where's your
microcosm? Happy with their setup. And
the microcosm is down here. Oh, you can see it. No, you can't see it. There's microcosm on this side, down there. Yep. And there's two other 303s here.
Yeah, you can never have too many of those.
How are you getting along with the...
it has changed.
How are you getting on with the Electron, Daren?
The Electron, I like it. It's cool. It's I've put it away for a few weeks because the next test is to see what it's like when I don't use it for a while and then I come back to use it. If it triggers, if I just go, oh god, I can't remember how to use it, then I'll still like it, but it's not got that. But at the moment, I liked it up until this point, so now I'm not touching it for a while and see whether I can get straight back into it.
I mean, that's
I've got vocal samples sent me.
You got the Electron, and I got this. So I kind of, when I got this, I thought to myself, this is going to be a lot of fun because it's tiny. Like you can just, you know, it's a sampler too. A lot of people don't realize that's, there's so many samplers that people say they sell as samplers. All they are is just playback machines. They're not really samplers. But that is a true sampler. You can actually sample on it and manipulate your samples in the box, which is a cool thing. And when I think about it, like I've always been raving on about the sample track from Sonicware, which is still sitting here right next to me. I mean, that's quite small, but you know, this thing is tiny. A
little bit, yeah.
Where are we? That way. Tiny. Compared to the sample track.
It's park bench compatible.
Both of them battery powered.
Exactly.
Both of them battery powered, but this one's rechargeable. So I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's really, really good. It's limited, but who cares? For what did I say? It was £150. It's so cheap.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
What's the Electron worth, Darren?
The Electron, I think it's the samples or this cycles.
They're the same price, aren't they? The samples and cycles, I think they're the same price.
Yeah, the same price.
I think they're about $259. About $259.
So it's another £100 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
I got my samples and cycles used for about $250 US. So.
Well, you got yours cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted. Someone in the chat mentioned the 1010 black box is good to get.
They're great.
I've always wanted to get one, but I can't justify the price. They are expensive.
Me neither, actually.
I think they're expensive for what they are.
I like the lemon drop and the tangerine's like a cut down version of the black box. Small version.
The smaller one.
1010.
Still pricey, isn't it? Yep.
Still a little bit.
You get so many features in there, though. They're really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when you're looking at these sort of samplers and stuff, I always look at them as what am I going to use them for? Like, what's the purpose? Like, if I'm just going to buy another sampler just so I can sit here and stare at it and think, wow, that looks fantastic, but what's it used for, right? And for me, the little Roland was there was a couple of things I liked about it. One was it was battery powered, so I'm not going to be introducing, if I'm powering it off of the battery, any sort of ground loop noise or anything into my, and I'm going to be able to, because it's lo-fi, I can plumb it into Eurorack. I can use the sync with any square wave gate that I can trigger to it.
Kind of Eurorack friendly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like sync input.
Yep. And you can use it to sample your Eurorack directly into it. And
that was actually the reason why I got the original Korg E2S, the sample E2S sample. That was the vision behind that. Was that I was going to sample modular percussion that I was making and turn it into sort of a drum machine for that.
Yeah. Well,
that was Black Box is basically a portable SP404 without the velocity pads. So.
Yeah. Like I said before, love it, but I just can't justify the price when it gets down to my country. It's just ludicrously priced down here. So, yeah. I mean, one day I might be able to afford one when I don't have dog bills and credit card debts. But yeah, the Sonicware sample track is also pretty cool for Eurorack as well. For that reason, you can battery power it, you can bring it in, but it's a different. They're both samplers, but they're just kind of a different workflow and a different way of thinking. So I don't know. I kind of feel, in a way, I feel like the limitations in the Roland aren't annoying, but the limitations in the sample track are. It's kind of weird.
Their ambitions are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sample track's trying to stretch a little bit further, but it doesn't get there.
Yep.
Whereas the
sample track is just harder to use in general. I mean, it's cool, but I don't ever use mine anymore. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to get the ALM sample. That's SALMPL. Sample.
Yeah,
because it's actually quite a sensible sampler for Eurorack.
They're nice, actually. Yeah.
There's 8 inputs, 8 outputs, Sorry, and it's like a USB thumb drive straight into the front panel. It's very, very well thought out. The only negative thing about it is it's quite low sample rate. I think it's only 44.1, but so is this little Roland
and it's wide.
P6.
It's a lot of HP.
A lot of HP. But I don't know. Like for me, I think it's more about functionality and about usefulness. And who's here bought gear and thought? I mean, I know Ian's going to answer this question, and I know what he's going to say. But who's here bought gear thinking it's going to be awesome, and then they've played with it and they thought, no, this is shit. I need to get rid of it. All of us, right? We've all bought stuff.
But I still don't get rid of it. So.
Oh, you're just hoarding.
My X key is up for sale as we speak.
So, Ian, you would be talking about the polyend tracker. That would be your...
Oh, the polyend tracker, and the X key. So there's two there. So yeah, the polyend tracker's gone.
What's the X key?
The X key is the French MIDI controller, MPE MIDI controller.
Oh,
it looks like X-Quist, that one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I thought you meant the X key, the CME X key.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Okay, so it's that French Kickstarter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks promising.
It looks promising, but the software is poor.
That's too bad.
Not MPE.
Mm.
Oh, let's talk about sample track. Yeah, so I mean, I really couldn't get on with the polyend tracker. Really couldn't.
Yeah.
Didn't just.
I think
I spent days.
Did you ever use a tracker back in the day though, Amiga days or?
No.
Yeah, so that could be why.
No. So that's
probably
why. Yeah.
I never used trackers.
You like
in the past,
it,
but but kind of it's kind of I'm still on the fence about it, but it is it is passing that test that Daren was talking about, where you come back to it and if you can still kind of navigate your way around without having to think too hard. It did pass that test for me, so I'm obviously getting it to some degree.
I just kept coming up with the fact it was making music by Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's pretty. I found turning it on its side really helped. Side mode really helped that.
By the way, speaking of sample check, you know what I use it for? To make drum kits for this.
Yeah, fair enough. I think
that's what it's best for.
Yeah.
So for me, the polyend tracker, the reason why I like it is because it brings me back to those mod days. Do you guys remember when we had, Amigas and we used to play those mod tunes on Amigas, which basically were a whole bunch. It was like you were using the limitations of the sound card on the Amiga, and you were playing a whole bunch of samples, right, to make music from, and the samples were usually sampled from other music, and it was actually quite clever. And I used to love that, how they used to, slice up samples and play them with limitations.
Really economical crate digging.
Yeah.
It's kind of really had to be frugal.
And then they brought the tracker out, and it's got a decent sized screen on it. It's like, how many things don't have a decent sized screen on it? So
the screen's really
so
nice,
for me,
actually.
it kind of it hit two things that I liked. One was the reminiscence of the tracker and my sort of experience with that, which I have to say, I mean, I've got quite a lot of experience using a tracker, so that side of it was easy for me. I didn't have to worry about relearning that. And I understand, Ian, I'm completely sympathetic with you. It is a completely different way to program music. And I know what you mean by, it's like loading a spreadsheet. It is if you do it that way, like if you're doing it like a step-based sequencer. If you're doing it step-based,
you kind
it's
of have
very, very arduous.
Yeah, you kind of have to
shouldn't be doing
step
it that
away
way.
from it, don't you?
Yeah.
You kind of have to sort of abandon that instinct. I mean, I'd love if it had a step sequencer mode, but they were kind
of... Is the synth halfway decent in the polyend tracker?
It's okay. I mean...
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of synths, I have to go back to this again. The granular synth in this is insane. And the thing is that you load your samples in and you can granular synth that, I could sing into it. And there's my granular synth, my voice, and you wouldn't even know. It's actually really, really good.
That a bit, yeah.
So, if you wanted to get a granular synth that was cheap and portable, the P6, that's a way of doing it. In a way, what was that mutable thing that was granular? The synth one, was it Shruti? Or was it the other one?
Sure.
There
They
was
had a version, yeah.
There was a granular thing that they did.
Well, I have a regular Shruti, which is just a synth with a Moog filter, but
no, it wasn't Shruti then. It was the other one that Ambika.
Ambika, yeah, Ambika I think is one. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever it was, and I think the not the rings, the other one, was it the clouds? Clouds got.
Clouds
is basically granular. Yeah,
Clouds got the algorithm from that and sort of evolved. Or Elements was next, and then Clouds. Yeah,
makes sense.
Oh, so Ambika wasn't it either. I might be thinking of just Elements then. I'm not sure, but there was definitely a mutable.
Elements is just physical model, stuff.
Oh, was it? So it's rings.
It's basically rings, fancy rings, with
rings.
a full voice.
I could have sworn there
effects
was
and everything.
I could have sworn there was a granular synth from Mutable. There
probably is. I can't remember. There's so many products. I even have their old MIDI Pal. Remember the little MIDI Pal?
Yeah, I've still got that.
That thing was cool.
It's in here. I actually used it the other day. I thought I bricked it by doing because you can get all these weird sort of firmware things on it.
Oh yeah.
Like I loaded this firmware called a MIDI clock. And all it does is just display a really, really high quality MIDI clock so that you can see if you've got MIDI jitter and things like that in your setup.
Okay.
And then I couldn't work out how to get the original MIDI power firmware back on it again.
Oh no.
And I left it for about a year, and then you know when you have those days where your brain's just not functioning properly.
Yes.
God, yeah.
Yeah, every day.
So that's why you leave things for a year and you come back to them when your brain's functioning back again.
I had to leave, come back the next day.
I managed to get it to work, and I remember thinking to myself when I got the firmware back on it, thinking that wasn't hard at all. What was I thinking? Why was it so hard? It was piss easy.
Yeah.
Someone in chat's asked me a question. What pieces of gear? Oh, it's Mac. What pieces of gear that you've already got could be replaced by the thing that you just bought? Well, that's what I was saying before about the sampler, right? This sampler, when you really think about it, I don't need it. But there was just some cool factors about it that makes it slightly different to the other things that I've got. Like it's portable, it's rechargeable, it's tiny, it's got a granular synth in it, and the granular synth is what you put into the sampler as well. And that could be, you could fart in it, and that's your it's your granular synth, right? The sample track
for that.
The sample track is probably, in my studio, not in the world, in my studio is probably the direct competitor of this. But they are completely different animals to program and to use. And I don't think that's got a granular synth in it, if I remember rightly. Because that would be eating at some of their other products that they're selling. So, so really in that sense, no. And the other thing that I bought recently was the E4. I'm not going to lift it up. It's just here. The voice thing, which is... I'll just put it on for you guys again. Turn that off. This is the... Let's take my voice off. This is the E4 from Roland. Try and make it a bit louder.
Very Daft Punk.
I mean, it was what was it? $200 Australian, £100. It's rechargeable. It's tiny. I used to have one of the IRA VT3s, the one that I think Daren's got one, right?
Yeah.
I have the VT3 and the VT4.
He doesn't have it, and it's definitely not used
VT4
for
or whatever it was. I never had the VT4. It was the first one.
Continued.
The 3 was better than the 4.
Yeah, I used to have it, and I sold it because it was a pain in the ass. I thought plugging it in and getting it to work and stuff like that. So I sold it, but they've actually, this particular one, the compact one here, apart from the fact that it doesn't do phantom voltage on your mic input, that's probably the only thing I don't like about it, which I don't think would have been too hard for them to implement, to be fair. Apart from that, it's actually
my favorite's actually the original VT1 with all the sliders. Have you tried that one?
I've actually never seen. Yeah, I've never seen a VT1. I've heard of it.
Amazing.
I've heard of it though.
Yeah,
there is.
You kids,
never
you
made a
don't know
VT.
you're born. You don't know you're born, you kids. I had to test a Moog vocoder 2 weeks ago. It took an hour to set it up to get even that out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
remember
like,
you
what
showed
the
it to us.
hell is this?
Yeah. I remember you showed it to us.
They sound great though. When they're working well, the Moog vocoders are awesome.
Yeah, but you know what? I could have been eating or something instead. It was
Yeah,
cables.
my favourite vocoder would have been the Korg Radius. To use simplicity and complexity out of the simplicity. Korg Radius was the best vocoder I've ever used, and it's digital. But the good thing is I've still got a Korg micro Korg, and it's got pretty much the same vocoder.
I'm going to say I've used the vocoder in the micro Korg and liked that. That's pretty easy to use.
Yeah.
You know.
The Roland JDXI's got a pretty decent vocoder in it as well.
JDXI is great because you can also do pitch to MIDI with it. The
Yeah.
only one that can do that.
Yeah.
Was it JP8080 has a vocoder?
Yeah.
The Micro Freak's got a vocoder on it now.
It was the
I've not
Korg
done anything with it.
VC10.
Sorry, Ken?
VC.
The Korg VC10.
Oh yeah, I don't see
Oh,
those.
that's a while ago. That one.
Range.
Yeah.
Part of the EMS range, yeah. Brilliant.
Has proper VU meters on it.
Yeah. But it's funny that when people are talking about nice, the best vocoders, it starts with the word Korg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
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 I have to say, yeah. I'm not ashamed of it either. I think they make some damn good stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't the Sennheiser one really good? I mean, that was supposed to be a classic one.
I never liked it. I know there's
70s.
Yeah, I know a lot of people raved about it. I never liked it. I've used one before, and I thought they were a pain in the ass to use. It was kind of along similar lines to the Moog, where you're setting a whole bunch of frequencies to try and
it's filter banks. Yeah, you got to set them all up.
Yeah, and I just thought it was a pain in the ass.
And then of course there's
I have a pretty
the
decent one in my
Kraftwerk
Sirius. Quasimidi Sirius has one. So
yeah, okay. So
you got the Kraftwerk one, which should have been aborted with a coat hanger before they even finished that.
the custom one, yeah.
Ugh.
So I think this is I would actually say this is where digital has done a good job. Digital has probably done a good job with vocoders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've taken us the
complexity EMS was the one with Transformers. The Transformers cartoons and stuff, wasn't that an EMS vocoder?
Oh,
yeah,
the EMS,
the 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think so. That was a real popular one.
Blue and silver looking thing.
As I did find out that Kraftwerk vocoder essentially is, from a certain point of view anyway, Sennheiser inside.
Right.
All right. I've just been reading about that because I'm reading Carl Bartok's book. He talks about it in quite a bit of detail.
Also, the Silence and Battlestar
What's
Galactica.
that book
That's one of the best vocoders
ever.
It's like that. It's
I was actually going to get that. Is that good
great,
to read?
Actually, it's
yeah,
really
I might get that.
And I'm going back and revisiting each album as he talks about it.
Yeah.
Even the first album that he didn't play on, but he played live with them. It's a really, really good book. It's great actually. I'll find out what it's called. Give me a sec.
The only analog vocoder I've got here is the Behringer clone of the Roland VP330. Wagoo's just mentioned it in the chat as well. The VC340.
Nice vocoder.
Not too bad. It's actually quite easy to use as well. The famous track obviously was the Beastie Boys Intergalactic. If you guys ever listen to the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, the book's called The Sound of the Machine.
Oh yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
The VP330 itself is a very, very nice vocoder.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
That's one thing Wagoo mentioned. The VP03 gets slagged off for the actual string and vocal formats inside of it, but when you vocoder into it, you can record step vocals into the steps. It's really clever.
Yeah,
it's the only reason to really buy it.
I did a name that synth with the VP03, and
I remember that one. Yeah.
And I used the recording feature of
the
it.
chops. Yeah.
And it threw everybody because they thought whatever I had drums in it.
Because it was sequenced, yeah.
Yeah.
So it can't be that.
Yep.
Yeah, again.
But it's cool. That feature is cool. But if they put that feature in, the analog version, because I don't care what anyone says, they did not get the digital recreation of the vocoder part anywhere near reality. It was terrible. And also it's supposed to be like, if you look at Waldorf did the strike fet, right, which is a proper divide down digital recreation. So they actually, you could literally hold your hand across an 88 keyboard synth and it would play every note on a strike fet, and it's a digital recreation. Whereas Roland, they just, I forget how many voices it was, 6 voices or 4 voices or something. I mean, it's the VP330 was divide down on the string.
Even the old Orange vocoder VST was pretty good.
What is that? Is that the same as the? I always wondered that one, Andy. Is that the same as the EHX one though? The guitar pedal, right? Electro.
No, this is software.
Oh, it's software.
This is just software. Yeah. But I think they still make it. It's been around.
So maybe they modeled it after it, because I always thought they sounded similar.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have vocoders all over the place. I lost count of how many, but I'm like, some of these things have vocoders in them now. It's just...
We've been like roaring to do a vocoder show. I think it's been a while.
Haven't done one since you did that vocoder show early on. I think it was. It was one of the earlier ones I noticed.
One of my
first vocoder was the SE50.
I actually went back and watched it.
Yeah.
because
the Boss SE50 had a decent vocoder in it, and I used to run the nastier the tone as the carrier, the better for those really raspy, nasty voices. Yeah. And I found those really weird tones you get on scanner radios. Those horrible, like really awful, make great carriers for vocoders. I used to do that all the time.
Well, that's what I liked about this Roland thing. It's actually got in the vocoder section. You let me show you. I'll just unplug shit. I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna show you on the thing what you can do with it. All right. When you're using the vocoder, no, I've disconnected it now. So when you're selecting the vocoder, right, you can actually change. Try and get the screen. So I'm holding down vocoder there, the button, and then that's a sawtooth, right? And there's a square, and then you've got P1, and then noise. So all of the noise ones are like really sort of aggressive sounding. It actually sounds amazing. I was actually really surprised.
I quite like putting the noise in the Spectravox really adds to its character too.
I'll plug it back in again so you can hear it.
Just thought of
the Spectravox, yeah.
Yeah, bit of that noise is good.
So
it means you can really say nasty, devilish things.
I'll turn my mic off.
It's like creepy
yeah,
whispering.
A bit of that mixed in with the a more traditional. As soon as you put the chords in, it's like totally different territory.
It is. It's nasty.
Now they're cute chipmunk devils.
That's what I'm saying. That gets really nasty. Like, and then if you put that through, if you could put that through some sort of filter and,
distortion,
distortion
as well.
It sounds really growly. Like, yeah, that's cool. I could see some people doing some cool things with that, just for a cheap little box. Yeah. And you guys were singing the praises of those little rollers, we'll call them, right, for a while now. Because I know Chris and Daren and
I've got
Andy.
I've got the S1.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have all the Volcas. I figured I'd start the Rolka collection. So.
Well, the only reason why I didn't get the other ones is because I've already got a Juno synth digital recreation from Roland. I've already got an SH01 Boutique. I've already got...
Yeah, but that chord function in that one, as a controller only, forget the voice coming out of it, to control even like Ableton Live or something like that, it's really cool. Using that chord synth.
But can't we do that with a Arturia key step?
Not as readily available with that thing. It's pretty nice. Well, Keystep 37 does that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've got here.
But this has, I don't know, it's pretty special actually. There's a lot of like hip hop guys using it with their MPC and stuff to drive chords and things. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, because they want to press one finger on a keyboard like me and Daren do.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Makes sense, right?
Well, you don't have to use the noise on it. It just control.
We're busy doing stuff. You know, we're busy.
Yeah, that one. The blue one.
Busy doing nothing.
Up.
Yep.
That one exactly. Yeah. It's very powerful.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's the main reason I got that one actually. I didn't necessarily need the Juno sound as such, although I like it. It was the all that chord functionality and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
That's a point. I think I've got a VT. Is it a VT3?
Yeah, the voice thing.
That's the IRA one. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think because I bought it because it was the part of the
IRA.
Yeah, that was the only reason. I think it's still in the box. I don't think I've ever taken it out.
Yeah, just leave it there.
Remembered it.
Yeah, leave it there, Ken.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
Yeah.
It's good. I like the VT3. The VT4 is not as good. The VT3 sounds better.
It is not good.
VT3 is not available. No one seems to understand this.
Yeah, no one's allowed to use them.
Taken off the VT3. It should be taken off the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Only purple ones can use that.
We never took it out of the box.
We're going to have to put together some kind of, nighttime raid crew to go into everyone's houses that we know we've heard you have a VT3. You shall not.
Yes.
In that case, when you come here,
you have
big
no
fan.
VT3 now.
It's probably mentioned in the Maastricht Treaty, probably, isn't it? I'm talking to my dogs. I'm completely insane. So move on.
But Daren, the VT3.
You're insane.
Daren, the VT3 that I owned was the Australian version. It had the Australian accent.
Oh,
it didn't have the Manchester accent like yours does. You know.
That's good then. That's fine.
Yeah.
I want one with a Yorkshire accent, please.
Geordie accent VT3.
Yeah.
We're gonna start something now.
That's not one of the MC.
We're going down to the beach, lah.
Couldn't understand
Lars met jumper.
the Glaswegian one at all.
A pooper, a scooper.
Pooper scuba. God help me.
Yay.
Yes. So, any other news from you guys? We should probably wrap the show up.
My foot hurts.
We didn't really vote on what our favourite synth of the year was.
We didn't even talk about it.
If anyone noticed, it was actually the title of the show.
Yeah, well, these things happen.
I know. It's only a provisional title.
I put these titles in just so that when people watch it, they can give me a thumbs down vote because they get pissed off that I haven't actually done the title.
Is it a synth that you've bought this year? Is that how it works?
What did I write? I can't even remember what I wrote.
I think synth is the best synth of the year or something. I think.
Topic. Best synths. I just wrote best synths.
Oh, okay. Well, kind of a bit more broad then.
Yeah, best synths.
Best synths. We did talk best synths in the context of the synths. But
all right, for 10 minutes, let's talk about best synths.
Okay. CS80.
Yeah, there you go. There's one.
There you go. You can't beat that.
DX7.
All Evolver.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, okay.
DX7, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hydrosynth.
Yeah.
Ooh, Hydrosynth.
Deluxe.
Yeah, get the one with the ribbon controller. Has to be. It has to be.
I've got a ribbon controller. I've got the 14E9 version, the original.
Yeah.
Wags wants the Timberwolf to be the winner.
Look,
I tell you what. Just because it's December, Just because
Yeah,
it's December.
we haven't seen it for a while. Right?
Oh, you got to vote code the Timberwolf. Yeah, run the vote coder with
He's
that.
got the shorts on.
What else?
Oh, shit, so have I.
There it is.
Yeah, because I've got the shorts on too, mate, so I can't.
Look, it's kept the box now.
You think your legs are hairy? You should see mine.
I got my big woolly on because
nightmare.
it's that bloody cold here.
I'm a Timberwolf.
Look at
Maybe that's what you
that.
should call me now.
My name's
Hey,
Dan.
mint in box.
And I just bought this. Wonderful synth. It's only $9.95.
Look at all the yeses.
You call now.
Yes, we'll give you $9.95 if you order one.
It doesn't come with a set of free steak knives, although you might need them to serve it.
Have you ever seen the circuit board one inside?
Is it mostly bare fiberglass FR4 material?
It actually depicts what loneliness looks like.
It's all empty space.
Does it personify tumbleweed and?
It personifies despair and loneliness. It's the most sparse piece of green.
It's like
fiberglass I've ever
So
seen
it's
in
a
my
giant
life.
green
like-
field with some dots on it, basically, right?
Look at all the
like an
thought
electric-
that's gone into this. There's even a little bit of foam. Even a bit of foam to take out from that little gap
Steady.
there and there.
Yeah,
to
I'll
stop
pay-
the
I'll pay
keys from being
$12
accidentally
for it.
pressed. Something you really want on a Timberwolf. To stop the keys from being accidentally pressed.
Timberwolf unboxing, guys. Have you ever seen it?
It's exciting.
Oh, dear.
Technically, this is a re-unboxing.
Yeah.
Possibly a re-unboxing.
Yeah, who cares?
This is sort of
no
like
one's
an
going to buy it.
artistic way. Innit? This is an
It's,
artistic way of
it's
showing
such a
what it's
fortune
like to have a
dollars,
gun.
Rans.
That beautiful
It's upside
faux
down,
wood on
everybody.
there, Look at that.
So all the electrons are going to fall out. Look, everybody, it's a Timberwolf. Are you excited like I am?
That was literally an artistic way of showing what having a dump looks like.
Yeah, well,
You have to
I
make
remember
that
saying to you,
sad
Ken, I said it
expression
can't,
that
it
Kai
can't be
Dan
that
used all
bad.
the time.
Meme that.
Does it have polyphonic aftertouch?
Yep. It does.
You throw it at the wall at different intensities. It crashes
hear that?
different.
Yeah, but
can,
look,
yeah.
you're all being unfair because at least if you buy a second-hand one, at least you're going to see it's not been used much.
Darren, it's got knobbage. Look, knobbage.
Poor
Yeah,
Kai
it's
Dan,
not
though.
bad.
He never got over
Does
the
it do anything
the
with knobbage,
Timberwolf
though?
fiasco.
Knowledge sales. Yeah.
All right. There's no point in me just unboxing it and not plugging it in.
So Kent, the circuit board in this thing, is it is it a bit like a young electrical engineer being told he's got a new synth design and then being told, no, you can't use that. No, you can't use that circuit either. No, that's too many circuits. You've got to stop putting in circuits. No.
It does look like that.
And he's sitting there, lonely man, going, okay, I guess I could really get into doing this envelope generator thing.
No, they
There's
forgot
so
to do
much
that.
actual
That's
empty
what they
space on the board that, you know, if you put an ant's nest in it, they'd start their own leisure centre on the top board. You know?
They would improve it, basically.
I think
They build a condo.
the guy
on
that
it.
designed it had an ant's nest growing in his brain.
Well, I suspect he had both his arms tied behind his back, so he was just moving
Really,
the mouse
it's really
with his
difficult to
nose.
put the power supply in because it just
Teeth.
keeps refusing. No.
Yes. Every time he added a circuit, the power supply went, I can't do that.
You want
The thing is, when I was trying to find that little sucker, I had no idea that this belonged to the Timberwolf because there's no way you'd know. It doesn't say Akai on it or anything like
It's
that.
generic,
And
generic
I had to do
boards.
a whole bunch of research, and I ended up actually asking someone that I
Found
know
a
that's
picture?
got one.
Okay.
And he goes, "Oh, it's got some WC thing focus capacitor on it," and that's how I knew it was the right one. It was sitting in one of my boxes, which have got all the wall warts in it.
WC is right. Water closet, right?
That's it, mate.
belongs in the water closet.
That's it. It belongs in the WC.
So when this podcast actually goes out, you're going to put into the video just a little warning sign that you're going to turn one on, just to let viewers know.
Warning:
ahead of
this
time.
video contains Timberwolf sounds.
Yeah.
It contains Cortinas and
Well,
Timberwolves.
there's your soundbite.
The police have been contacted.
Okay, let's watch it.
I have to put the Kai Dan tribute video in the chat, so you guys got to watch this if you haven't seen it for a while. It's so hilarious.
Oh, please be one of these Teslas bursting into flame videos. Oh,
it works. Look at that.
Well, it's hasn't got to do a lot, is it?
Yes, the only thing worse than dropping a turd in your face is dropping one that can't.
It's got Lily on it, Ken. Wolf. It's a picture of Lily in the top corner.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wolf is actually in pain.
Rah.
It's the frequencies are driving the wolf crazy. So
yeah.
Someone's got a hold of his balls.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
What colour is that?
Teal, isn't it?
Oh, the pitch wheel. It's amazing. It goes from there to there.
Wow. That's a lot of
You don't want to go
nuance.
too crazy. You gotta pace yourself.
Yeah. Pace yourself. I love how it's got LEDs to let you know who you're listening to.
Listen to those oscillators beat.
Isn't that so that you can play the game of which oscillator is going to pick next? Because the person who programmed it had no idea.
Got to count to 4.
There was one channel that made a bunch of songs with this that sounded pretty good. Wabu knows it, and he's like the only guy ever who made a good track tempo.
You know what? For a laugh, I'd like to
Howler. Where's the Howler?
mod crap out.
You're trying to adjust the filter. Hang on a minute. No, that's not that voice. Oh, it's this one over here now. Hang on a minute. So it's this one. It's like... I honestly think whoever invented this was having a piss take at synthesizer people. They're like, how can I really piss them off? Okay, yeah, let's make it so that you don't even know what voice it's going to use.
Maybe we'll find out one day the engineer actually just sat his 5-year-old and said, you do it. I'm too busy to do this today. You design this.
You know what's worse, though, is the Rhythm Wolf is actually worse. And if you haven't seen the Foxy Nadu video about it, it's classic. Such a terrible drum machine.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's shocking. It's horrible. It's horrible. You have no idea how horrible this thing is. It does have a sequencer on here.
I've tried to like
Sometimes
it.
You need
I had seriously sat down with it and tried to like it, and then it's like sitting down and trying to convince yourself that Hitler was actually a pretty good guy. Really, you know?
He was a good guy.
I'm just looking at the Music Radar review from 2020.
Yeah.
And in the conclusion, they said, with its clever design and distinctive sound. What's more to say? What's more to like?
Well, distinctive doesn't always
the
mean
Timberwolf
good.
is a credible all-analog synth.
So many things, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a credible all-analog synth.
Incredible. I believe it did exist.
I noticed that the Roadout review has not put their name on the bottom of it.
Wow.
And that patch was called Dropping My Grandmother's Coffin into a Sewer.
I mean...
That's music for a glory hole, basically.
It does make noise, but so does my bottom.
And so does an Atari punk console.
But if you want to buy it, it's for sale. And if anyone wants to buy it, hey, look, you know, there could be a bit of a stigma around the fact that you know, this is the best sounding Timberwolf in the world. This particular one,
yeah,
famous one.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a sample pack of this synth though. You know, like all the best sounds, all the best sounds from the Timberwolf. Here's your pack, one sound.
The difference is they pay you to get it.
Well, if you wanted to know what mental illness sounded like, there you go.
Yeah, well, go give the name of that guy, DJ Shinga. Go check out his channel because he actually made it sound good. Well, the only guy who ever made it sound good.
So someone wants to know what the
what happens if it does like
it?
What happens if it ends up?
Cool eggs. Very
What
cool.
happens in 5 or 10 years? We're all sort of kicking ourselves because it's done like a TB303 and the prices have shot up because they've come up with some sort of genre of music.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
No, it isn't.
Well, Kent, that project you were going to work on with Dom to make this actually nice, that would have been cool, right? It would have actually been pretty nice.
I remember when that 303 came out, people loved it.
Yeah.
Like a traditional filter, it does lose the bottom end when the resonance goes into this.
Yeah, but it's ladder, isn't it? Not ladder, it's what do you call it? Yeah, no, ladder.
It's ladder. See the bottom end come back in.
All the bass
Shut up, Noah. You don't know what you're talking about.
Look, it's almost high passing there. It's just so shit.
Yeah, it's
like, I mean, what the fuck are you doing with
we
that?
need more resonance.
Hang on, I want
It's
more resonance, but now
I
my
don't
resonance
care.
knob's
Give it
turned
more
into a
resonance.
high pass filter. Oh yes, that's a feature.
Sell it.
Yes, you're right, Ian. So that's a
Ranzee,
feature.
it's called a variable pass filter. Whenever it wants to do whatever it wants.
It's called.
Exactly.
I have
it's
no
very-
fucking idea what I'm doing. Filter.
I don't know what the hell
It's an
filter
excellent
I am.
review for it, though, Rance. You know, it just sounds shit.
It does. My bottom sounds better than that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
What you
You
reckon?
can pick one up on Reverb for 160 quid.
Ooh.
I'm
It's a
doing a
bit of a
damn
shame you spent
impersonation now.
500 quid on it.
What? Is that 3 of them?
Yeah, Guitar Center was blowing
Yeah,
them out
but
for
you know what?
$200.
Were they?
No one's going to send you anything to review, Rans.
You know that sound when you
Give it away.
squeeze your butt cheeks really tight
Timberwolf.
together?
The ultimate
It's
squeeze.
got that. It's got that sound. Butt cheeks squeezed together sound.
Oh, yeah.
Too bad it doesn't have presets.
It's like holding a rubber band with your butt cheeks squeezed together and tinging it. Like,
My God, there's another one. 300 quid for it.
Or you could put your dick in a vice.
Yeah, hang on though. £288
Filter
plus
mouth.
£165 to ship. It's quite scammy, isn't it? Oh, but it's in the States. Andy, you can get it.
sounds like my electric toothbrush.
Oh boy, I still have a chance.
I mean, who's stood in the bathroom with the electric toothbrush making a filter sound? Come on, everyone's done that.
Yes, we've all done it. I do it with manual toothbrush because I'm old school.
If you have a sonic care that does the other frequencies too, then you get the high frequencies as well as the filtery thing.
Sound like you're going to the
spend too much
dentist.
time in the bathroom, Andy.
Yeah.
You're having a root canal.
I've had plenty. They're not fun. So.
No.
I'm not letting you know how much I paid for mine, because then when I sell it for the millions that I want for this, like if that guy can sell a friggin' broken down piece of crap organ for what was it, 200,000 US, I can sell a Timberwolf for
Oh, the clavinet, yeah.
I don't know, that guy might
Wags,
have a
there were.
hitman out on him.
Yeah. There were 600 when they first came out.
Well, remember the mixer, Ian? Your mixer's still $48,000.
£600.
Right,
So.
this mixer here, it's out of me $45,000. And I'll take $44,000. Yeah. Anybody wants it, I'll even deliver it.
Is there an LFO on this?
$44,000.
There is not an LFO on this, is there?
Horrible noises, aren't you?
I love
There's
the dog licking. Yeah, that's great.
Guys, there's no.
No,
Hang on.
He's
wait,
like, that's
wait.
a damn timber wolf, isn't it?
Is somebody murdering a rabbit somewhere?
There's no LFO on this, is there? I'm just trying to see if there's an LFO.
There's got to be one. There's got to be one on there somewhere.
Do you use one of the voices?
No, but you can't patch a voice into another voice. I mean, you
But
could
imagine this: some genius who made the Rhythm Wolf heard the Howl circuit and said, "This would make a great synth on its own." No, it won't. You say, but it's analog. So it has
It would look even better if you were just pairing.
Mark my words, one day someone's going to bring out a Eurorack module that is the Timberwolf voice, and people will buy it. Just needs to be a sufficient amount of time.
It'll be on it's on Behringer's list, surely. Of what's just to do?
What is this crap?
So yes, this show is actually terrifying a dog. This is
I am trying my hardest, guys. I'm trying my hardest to get a sound out of this thing that's actually reasonable. And sorry, I just can't. But it's for sale if you want to buy it.
Ranzee, you should use the timber with your vocoder thing.
I could do that. I don't want to break my vocoder
That'll
though.
be fun.
Seriously.
You go that way. Go on then.
You won't break it. It'll just
Don't blame your tools. Come on,
cease
mate.
to exist, commit suicide, and
If you can make
we
a
should
Timberwolf
never been
sound
fed
better
Timberwolf sounds.
than Dan, you know, poor Dan. He had it sounding pretty.
Yeah,
good
that was a great
after
part
me.
of the video. Dan would go, "You want to hear some sounds?" And he'd go,
And then everyone's like, "Okay, when are you going to make some sounds?"
"Yeah." I mean, they're sounds. They're just not pleasant sounds. So.
No, that was shocking. Anyway, now you've
That was
maybe
great.
now you've maybe messed my room up even more. Thank you.
You know you want to play that. You love that.
There has been one comment already about your messy studio.
Oh yeah, there's some crap over in the corner from when I got back from camp. I haven't cleaned up yet. Be busy with the dog, guys. Give me a break.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't me. I didn't say it.
I actually probably got about 3 hours sleep last night because I woke up probably 4 times during the night, just to make sure that she was still breathing.
Yeah.
Well, you beat me. I only got 4 hours sleep, so you got a little less than me.
Yeah, I can survive. I can survive on lack of sleep. It's no problem. Okay,
I can't, but not like I used to.
I mean, come on, guys. Look, think about how cool this show's been today. We've talked about rip-offs. We've talked about shit synths, making fart sounds in your Eurorack. You know, like seriously,
touching the Eurorack, yeah.
Picking up chicks from Cortinas.
Yeah, we've
dogs.
pretty much covered all bases, haven't we?
You know,
terrorizing dogs with horrible sounds. Yeah.
What more do you guys want? Seriously, bang for buck. Come on, hang on, let me have a look.
Sex
here.
toys.
Yeah. Let me have a look here.
Yeah.
Everything.
I'm going to refresh this page and see how many likes you got.
We didn't mention the jelly wrestling yet. Yeah, that's for you. So.
We haven't mentioned the other wrestling, but
31 likes. Is that it? Is that what you? 67 people watching.
Jelly wrestling.
Come on, guys.
Should be
I got the
32 now.
Timberwolf.
Only Wagyu is into jelly wrestling.
Wagyu loves that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And I'm surprised that he has mentioned it in the chat.
Credibility for you.
That's why I had to
What's
do
up? Look, jelly wrestling.
2 more likes since I complained about the likes.
Yeah, one of them was me though.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, there we go. It's going up now.
Well, I like the show before it started. So how does that
You
work?
guys are like so motivated, aren't you? It's. Oh, do I have to? I got to move my hand over to that like button. Oh God, that's such an effort. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the day or the afternoon.
Oh dear me.
What said we had 79 people at one stage on the show. I mean,
I've
that's
got 65 at the moment.
That's not bad. Yeah, 66 at the moment.
So they all came on when the Timberwolf came out, right? That's when it spiked up.
Yeah, it's gone up. It's gone up.
Viewers. Ooh.
Actually, when they came on, when we had the most, 80, it was like 80s, 81. Ooh, we got 81. We had 81 at one stage. Fuck me, that is so pathetic, isn't it? I've been doing this for, what, 5 years, and I can only get 80 people to watch the show at once. Fuck.
Yes, but it's the
quality
of 80 people.
Quality people, yes, of course. I mean, you guys are quality.
Purveyors of taste. And
yes,
good manners.
Exactly.
Probably because I don't have a big, nice bit of cleavage.
Well, where you going then?
Well, I do.
No Naomi
I do if I squeeze them together.
Yeah, there you go. You can make it happen.
Man boobs.
Oh, it's getting warm in here.
66 in 30 plus likes. The show's only half bad.
It's only half bad.
That's it, mate. You got it. Yeah. Well, that's how prime ministers get elected. You only half the country need to like him.
Yeah, exactly.
Or her.
Yeah.
So the show gets by on preferences.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. And bad policies.
Good. Let's not get talking about politics, especially here in the UK.
I want to know why you're watching the show.
Serious question, Chris. Do you ever export to the EU?
Do I what?
Do you sell to the EU?
Yes.
Do you know about this new thing that came in from the 13th? I've got it listed.
Oh, here we go.
Do you know about it, Ken? You must do.
You have to donate a kidney.
GPSR regulation.
Right.
General Product Safety Regulation.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of extra bollocks that you need if you're going to sell into the EU and Northern Ireland from now on.
Right.
Wow. Doesn't affect me that much. I occasionally sell.
I think it depends on volumes, though.
Possibly does.
Not according to what I've just got it up here.
So even if you sell one
thing.
Oh my god!
You'll need to know a whole load of stuff. Yeah, not against nodding.
Sounds a bit like ROHS.
The reason I know about this is a friend of mine has got a small record label who sells a lot into Europe because that's his main market. The small experimental label based in London, and it's causing him all loads of problems because he's had to stop exporting for the time being. Because
Wagoo has just mentioned AM Synths have stopped selling to the EU. Yeah. That might be the reason.
That will be probably
temporarily.
Will be the
reason, we've seen this the companies do this quite often whenever there's a sudden change in regulation.
So if someone from the EU buys something from Australia, are you selling to the EU or are you buying something from Australia?
Yeah, you as the seller are selling into that country.
I reckon they've got. I reckon they've got that ass about, because if you're buying something from someone who makes something in Australia, then you're buying something that's Australian. Why should it have to comply with the EU?
See, and if I buy something from, like I did, I bought. Oh, that was Japan. So if I buy something from Europe, say I buy a synth from France, then they don't have to do anything because it doesn't affect it, because it's coming into the country. But if I then want to sell something into France, I have to comply with the new general product safety regulations, which is there's a whole.
We already had that
like,
CE mark. Like Sequential has to have a CE mark to sell to Europe, right?
Yeah.
So.
Only I need to know this. I haven't
the
looked
European
into it a lot because it doesn't really affect me that much. But
was that CE thing?
But you need to know who the originator is. There needs to be a named person in the parent company of the product.
I thought
you need to.
I thought the UK has a trade deal with the US. Because that's the
US.
AUKUS. I mean, the US. Actually, you got the AUKUS deal.
It won't affect the US.
No, but you've got an AUKUS deal, right?
If I send you something in Australia, sell you something, or sell Andy something, that's fine. It's only the EU. It's an EU directive.
Oh well.
The way I see it, the ROHS thing, whatever that is, the ROHS.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
I think we've got this arse about if I jumped on a plane, I lived in Dusseldorf, right? I jumped on a plane, I flew to Australia, knocked on Chris's front door and said,
here's some money, give me a mojo.
Deine Stammsunkopf. No, can I please have one of your modules? And he's like, yeah, cool, here you go. I've bought something in Australia. How is that different than him jumping on a website that's hosted in Australia, buying from an Australian company, and it's posted from Australia? How is that different?
Because he's living in Germany.
His electrons travelled to an Australian website.
This is bureaucracy, isn't it?
I know. To me, it's a load of crap.
So because he's living in Germany,
the way I see it is
not an issue for him.
The way I see it is if Europeans want to dictate what has some sort of restrictions on what that can be sold in their land, then they should do what the Australians do. So, for example, in Australia, if we want to import stuff from other countries, we pay import duty and we pay goods and services tax, and there are other sort of restrictions, right? But that's only if we've imported things, right? So So I don't see. The thing is, I don't agree that if you're buying something from another country and you're living in Europe, I don't believe that's the same thing as if you're selling to the European community. So for me, selling to the European community means that I've got a product sitting on the shelf in Aldi in Dusseldorf that was made in Australia, but it's actually sitting physically in the shelf in the European countries. To me, that's selling to the European.
But customs requirements are customs requirements. You're still crossing the border, so
that's the thing.
It's not to do with customs, really. It is to do with. It says here, and this is the
it's a safety
EU
thing.
Commission page. It says it's a new key instrument in the EU for product safety. It's a product safety legal framework that was replaced on the 13th of December 2024. So they're saying it's because it's about safety products. I suppose that there is an issue
someone's lining
there.
Their pockets again.
It sounds like that.
It's like we have
for those small companies. So if you are a small company based in the UK or in the UK,
but I don't. The thing is, of course, I'm doing it through
not
Etsy.
Northern Ireland. Sorry,
because I'm doing it through Etsy. So there is an Australian company involved.
You might be okay, but I know that eBay is an issue.
What about the fact? Okay, so what about this? What about the fact that
they're trying to work out what to do too? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Say I bought a dope for module. I'm Australian. I bought a dope for module, and he's in Germany.
No problem.
Why is that not? Why is it not a problem? Why does he not have to do it then?
Because it's not coming into the EU; it's going out of the EU.
Okay, so to me,
it's that way. It's bite his things in. So it's not a reciprocal thing.
That's BS.
But if it is absolutely. I mean, I've just
you don't believe
that your product's safe. I mean, we don't sell a lot to the EU, but we probably do 1 or 2 a month sales.
Do you remember the Vactrol thing, right? With the
that is our
cardamom or whatever it is, right?
Cadmium.
That's it.
Cadmium sulfide.
It's
right. So
restricted.
So there's nothing stopping someone from flying to the US, knocking on Make Noise's door and saying, "Give me one of your Vactrols," chucking it in your luggage,
thing.
And flying back to Europe, and you've got a Vactrol with the banned chemical in it, and they won't even know.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
Black market Vactrols.
Let's hide them in our
contraband.
That actually does exist.
I also wonder how the hell are they going to police it? So if you hit me up, you send me an email, say, I want to buy whatever it is that you've got for sale, and you want to buy CD, right? Good example. So you want to buy this CD for 12 quid. I'm going to send it to you. We've done it through a website, but we've not done it through anything. How the hell, you're living in the EU. How the hell are they going to know that I've sent it to you? unless maybe that's where customs comes into it.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on who's enforcing it, as you said, and the difficulty about things that come in.
Stupid.
Things that come in where they haven't fleshed it out.
And I really felt for Colin, because he sent a message out to everybody on his mailing list, and it's basically saying I'm going to have real problems here, especially sending. And a lot of his clientele are in Europe. He sends vinyl and albums out to Europe all the time.
See, that's the thing is if you've got lots of customers there, of course, then you've got to be wondering if they're going to crack down on you. So you kind of have no choice. But if you're just selling one or two things, you might be thinking
it's not going to affect me.
I'll just wait and see, because it's the next package I say is going to get rejected in customs because I didn't do some paperwork.
Somewhere along the line, someone figures another way to get money out of you. That's just what it is. So
it is. Yeah.
The thing is, like, when you think about like Eurorack, I guess Eurorack's probably the worst one. We are so close to touching electric circuits with power with our fingers in Eurorack than probably any other musical instrument that I can think of. On a more regular
basis.
He's
getting shocked all the time. So
no, but I'm talking about just the general user. I'm not talking about repair people, right?
Potentially,
So there is going to be someone one day that will get seriously injured. That side of it, I completely agree with, like the safety side, like where people need to be careful about this sort of stuff. I mean, most cases Eurorack only has low voltages, whatever it is, 12 volts, negative or positive, 5 volts, whatever. The amperage could be, construed as a little bit dangerous in some cases, the current that is, but really it's not sort of really highly life-threatening sort of stuff. But you can cause yourself some internal damage.
Well, there's only so much you can do. The simple childhood nightlight that goes into an AC outlet, if you touch that with wet fingers, you're dead, right? There's no way to safeguard that.
You've seen the Darwin Awards, right? There are stupid people that live in this world. So someone, I don't know if maybe it's already happened. Someone is going to seriously injure themselves with voltage if it hasn't already happened.
But this has already had an effect even before this directive has come in, because the customs generally across Europe at the moment are slowing down like you would not believe. Obviously, they're dealing with a lot of setting up and more paperwork. You know the Bob Moe Foundation mini move
raffle,
right? That is still sitting in customs. The guy hasn't got it yet. It's still sitting in Berlin.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed that it didn't come to me.
Only tickets did you buy?
You only need to buy one, mate. Only one wins it.
Well, obviously you bought the wrong one. It's your own fault.
Yeah. It's all the right people. It's all my fault.
Yeah. It's who you know, mate.
Yeah. No.
I'll keep an eye out for it, Ian. Thanks for the heads up. There's probably going to be something from Etsy talking about it.
Yeah. The guy's emailing me and he's screaming at me about it. I'm there going, I restored it, mate. I polished it. That's all I did.
The point I'm trying to make though is that
what Ian's saying. What
I was going to say, Ian, what you're saying, Ian, the actual purpose behind what they're doing, I actually think is a good idea. But really, what they've done is they've turned it into a bureaucratic piece of crap that really doesn't actually benefit anyone.
I mean, if you've got some really dodgy child's electric toy coming in, that and I get that, But when you've got small companies
that sell stuff into Europe already, they already had something in place for this.
They had the CE
thing.
Where's the mini move going? Is it France or Germany? Where is it? Which country is it actually going to?
Germany, he said.
Oh, right. Because Germany's better. In my experience, Germany is better than France generally, trying to get through customs.
Yeah.
Obviously,
do people in Germany actually like Peter Gabriel though? That was kind of no.
I had.
I like those albums in German.
I do not understand what he's singing.
He played in Berlin, didn't he?
Honestly,
Berlin
he's
concert.
in a TNC depot and has been since bloody hell, beginning of November or something.
Well, I have French.
This synthesizer, this is like Kraftwerk. Yes.
Madness.
Electric shock.
Wunderbar.
I sold a Valve mic to a
That's
guy who's got a
Valve.
studio in France, and it got rejected at customs, and they sent it back. Luckily, he's got another studio, I think, in Switzerland, so he sent it to Switzerland, and it was fine. You know,
No problem,
but they just the French customs just messed around forever. And he says this happens all the time.
I had something sent from feedback modules a while back that got stuck for months and months and months in Italy, in Milan, in Italy, and it ended up going back to Prague. I noticed that he's changed his
He's sending from
his
Spain.
base, his base address now. Has he moved, or is he just changed the distribution center? I need to ask him about that.
Yeah.
But
After
yeah,
the show, I can
there's a myriad of reasons why things don't ship well in the European region right now.
Yeah.
And your guess is as good as mine as what it is.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better.
No.
I mean, I've already been affected by the Canadian mail strike, for example.
Oh, there's a Canadian mail strike, is there?
There is a Canadian mail strike, yeah. Still going. They don't reckon it's going to get resolved until next year.
Yeah, they're having trouble to get those things out.
What the hell was that?
That's me, Canadian.
That's Canadian.
Head's not popping enough.
Was it
Just say
an old
composer.
stroke? What was
Nothing a
that?
sample pack of all, yeah.
Oh, no. That's the next thing.
We've just got a mail depot in Frome that stockpiles our mail for like 8 days before they send it to us.
Chris's module's on the ice road. That's where it is.
Hey, Chris, are you going to be affected by the tariffs coming next year?
Tariffs? Oh, you mean the American ones?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yes,
so this
possibly.
this is interesting, right?
If he does do it, yeah. But because it's Australia,
it won't affect us, and it won't affect the
special
UK.
relationship. Special relationship.
Because we've got AUKUS.
Yeah.
This AUKUS deal was huge, and Trump was the one that actually set it up. So he actually set it up in his previous presidency. So it's a huge thing because there's massive defense contracts like the UK.
So he did something right, you're saying?
He did do something right.
Just laughing at what my dude said that
by accident.
The Pat Mooses are on strike.
Someone probably did it and he just signed it. That's probably what happened. Well, the UK are buying a whole heap of stuff, and Australia are buying a whole heap of stuff from the US. So they're not gonna rattle that cage for a while. In fact, well, to remind you guys, Australia literally dumped a huge French submarine contract, and had to pay billions of dollars to the French to bail out of that contract just so they could switch over to the US deal. So, and I believe there was a similar thing that happened in the UK as well. UK were doing some
wouldn't surprise me.
some airplane, Air Force plane sort of contract.
Happy birthday, Justin.
And we really pissed off
birthday,
the French.
Hey,
Really
Justin.
pissed off the French doing that. Yeah, like that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it with the French? I've got some lovely French friends, but as a country,
Well, I went there. I went there once, and
Lovely people, but
they explained
this
this to me, right? And I still think this is actually probably someone who's French will probably back this up. So they have their way about how they communicate day to day, and they don't need how they come across as arrogant to us. Well, they're saying that they don't need to have constant conversations with people about their feelings, and it's a little bit more blunt the way that they interact with each other. This is how I got explained, and they're more efficient when they talk to each other, and especially when they go into shops. It's like, croissant, cool, done, bye. It's like, there's none of this kind of. And if you send like one of these Los Angeles woke hippie, into Paris, and they've asked for a croissant, and someone doesn't smile, but oh my God, I'm offended.
So unfriendly, this country.
I'm going to write a letter. I'm gonna get Dr. Phil on. He's gonna complain, and Donald Trump's gonna write
all on my
letter.
social media followers.
So basically,
this is the Ranzee accent show. This is good.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to process what Ian said.
What did I say?
Well, you said you like the people, hate the country. That's like going.
No,
I like the.
I didn't say that. I said I have friends. I have French. I have friends.
You're lovely, but this ground.
Oh, it's the terroir. It's the terroir he hates.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it makes sense though, doesn't it? Like, because they kind of, they're blunt, but it's direct, and I feel like the way I was explained, it's more efficient.
Yeah.
It's an efficient way of talking to people, and they don't have to worry about how someone feels all the time. It's kind of,
well, also there's a shorthand.
Yeah,
they have a shorthand with each other, so.
But that comes
we know
across
what we love and
to foreigners.
Same passions, and you don't have to talk about them all the time.
Yeah, but then there was this other part of it, and that is that they actually really kind of dislike talking English to people, and they
I have noticed that, you know.
Yeah. And there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. It's not their natural language, and I find that's fair enough too.
I went a few years ago. Quite a few years ago. I went on a trip with Yamaha to what was then Euro Disney, you know, Disneyland Paris. Staying in Paris, and whenever I go to a country, I will always attempt to speak the language. I'm not very. I did night classes in French, and I'm not great at French, but I'm better at French than probably any other language, including English. What I found was that people, you know, if you attempt to speak to them in French, they will then help you to some extent. You know, if they've got really good English, they will then start to. But if you don't attempt, they don't want to know.
They like the attempt.
That, you know.
I've experienced this in my own hallway. I had a customer came over. He presented me with this. Like a little bag of treats that he picked up on the way over. He was picking up an 80, and
is that
me being me, I opened the door, knew the guy was coming. He's standing at the door, and I go, bonjour, like that. He goes, oh, it's almost. He got the judo somehow, and I've gone, merci beaucoup, magnifique, and everything like that, and then continued to speak French at me, and I'm going, I don't know any more than that.
Yeah.
And when I said no, I don't actually know any more French than that. And
he just said to you, "Can't you fix this for me for free?" And you've just gone, yeah, beaucoup.
It's very good.
Okay. Well, then I will have to speak your useless language. You know, like, yeah, sorry, I knew that bit. I learned that bit at school. You know, how to not get killed when you go to France.
Spit in your face.
Yes, exactly.
I know merde, but it doesn't come up with them.
Yeah, we all know that.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I would have thought you had a few
And
things
he
you
was
repaired that
genuinely
you
pissed
described
off
that way.
That's all I knew.
Was like that? Is that like the phone call that you got from Jean-Michel Jarre? You told us about that a few months ago. The phone call that you got from him.
Yeah. I never learned, do I? I do the handshake, right? I do the handshake, and then it's like, oh, in that case, well, let's run with this. And I'm going, oh shit, what have I started? Whereas German people come to the door, and they speak English better than I do.
Yeah.
All of them. Every single German.
I mean, certainly there is an arrogance of the Brit going abroad where,
gotcha.
You know, we are, you know, an awful lot of British people expect people to speak English.
Yeah.
In a different
that whole sort of like,
which is just arrogant, really.
Just tailing off the colonialism right there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a laziness that doesn't exist out there.
Just tailing off. Yeah.
When I worked at Apple, I spoke to people in Sweden, and their English was perfect. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
No accent even. It was amazing.
I did attempt to speak Mandarin in Hong Kong, which was quite fun.
I'm the same, Wags.
Sure.
And you got out alive?
I even.
Yeah. They were really sweet. Yeah, it was great. The people were lovely in Hong Kong. But I was trying. Am I saying this right? You know.
When I went to France, I tried to speak French and I tried so many times, and like people, they were fine with it and everything, but it would have been so laughable because I did it at school, I did it in high school. I think I did first year uni French as well, and like I was never really good at it. I'm not a good language person, but there's a certain aptitude to be multilingual. Some people have it, some people don't.
Yeah.
Chinese is extremely difficult because they have those 4 tones and they're very subtle.
Yeah.
The dialect, yeah.
If you don't hear those tone differences, you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, you could have sworn at them or told them that you love them. And it's
seriously,
literally the same letters, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the family next door here. They're from Hong Kong, and Gigi, she can speak brilliant English, very, very good and very clear. Her husband cannot speak a single word, but she said his name is Simon. Okay. So they're adopting English names, obviously, to But because he cannot speak a single word of English, and my whatever it is,
his name's not Simon.
I think it might be some form of Mandarin or something like that. But the best we do is go, hey, and he goes, hey, from the other side of the French. That's it. Yeah. Nice guy. They're very lovely people next door.
I mean, I've been to Hong Kong twice, and the people there were just absolutely lovely. I
like Hong Kong. Hong Kong's great.
Hong Kong. I mean, I haven't been since all the trouble, but no, it's a great place actually.
Yeah, that's why they're here now.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Last time I went there was about 2010, somewhere around there. So when was the trouble?
Same sort of time I was. Yeah.
So
the trouble's been
more recent,
later. Like from 2015, I think, is when it really kicked off. And but you could see when I went, because I went about 2007 and then 2012. Well, 2012, yeah. You could see that that from central China, they were basically moving people into the Hong Kong territories, but also they were just trying to clamp down, on any form of free speech. That's what they've done.
But they had the classic stereotype. I call it a stereotype, but I wouldn't like to actually use that particular phrase. But they have a daughter who's like 8 or 9 next door, and they have an upright piano, and she was playing this piano when I was round there, and I was like, oh God, I'm 62 and I can't even play anywhere near.
Oh my
God. Yeah. Jeez on bread. The absolute
I went to my son's piano recital thing towards the end of, because we finished school for the year, because we have our school's calendar base here. Our year finishes in December, at the start of December too, and they go on school holidays for a long period. It's like we have a summer break in December and January. You guys have your summer break in June, July. Anyway, so we went to the piano recital, and my son was playing, and he was doing quite a nice piece, and he's like grade 2 level piano, not grade 2 level academics, but grade 2 level piano. That's where he's at. And this boy, he's same age, in same class. He played like some insane Mozart piece. I forget which one it was. I've got the brochure somewhere, and it was perfect. It was like high end, like you would hear someone who's been playing for 30 years play. It was amazing, and he's only like 10 years old. This kid, it's incredible. And he's Asian. He's an Asian boy, right? His parents probably come from China, or somewhere in Asia, but I'm pretty sure it's China. But I know for a fact, because I've spoken to the dad, that he every single day sits in front of the piano. Every single day.
I was going to say, a lot of it's time and focus. I had a friend who was in the Army, and he spent every free moment not doing Army stuff, learning the piano. And he played me Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C-sharp minor, and it was fucking glorious.
Yeah.
It was right off the CD level kind of stuff.
I made the mistake of saying that I could play Claire de Lune. She goes, "Oh, I can play that as well." And I went, "Oh, show us like that." And she played it, but she played it.
Yeah, properly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when she finished, and she goes, you want to go? I mean, no, I'm wrong. No, it's not
No, you're right,
I can't
mate.
remember what it is now.
It was chopsticks. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can play the lead.
I can play with one finger.
Yeah. Do you want me to polish your piano for you? That's my contribution.
She probably needs a piano. She probably needs a piano tuner. They're in short supply.
I tell you what, she could do. She could do with a proper Bussendorfer D6 in there or something. She's brilliant. She's got this really old, clanky old upright. And I'm going. This girl needs a 375 grand.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Like, I go to these orchestral concerts where you see like adults who have been playing in orchestras for their entire lives. They've been doing it since they were, 5, 6 years old, and they've been brought up their whole life, and you go there and you just look at it and you just think, fuck, they're amazing, these people as musicians. They're just so good at it. So good. And then you go back to one of my kids' concerts at school where there's a whole bunch of, because he's in grade 4, and when you're playing strings, there's no perfect way to keep a violin in tune unless you get your finger right on the right spot on the fretboard, right? So they're all kind of sickly sounding string sounds, and then you compare it to someone who's been playing in an orchestra for like 30 years and they're just pitch perfect all the way through. And you just think to yourself, that is actually a lot harder than a lot of people sort of take. They all take it for granted.
Oh, God,
it is so hard, And the only way to notice it is when you've got a kid who's learning, and you're just watching him go through the struggles day by day. So my kid, he's been playing violin since he was in year 2. So for 2 years or 3 years, I guess now, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, he's in year 5 next year, and. He gets selected for all the orchestral stuff at school, and not all the boys get selected. So, it's not because he's amazing or anything like that. It's just because that there's a level of ability that they look for, and some of the kids, they just don't have the aptitude to play. And I think it's like a discipline thing, really. And if anything, it's not like, I reckon anyone could do it. But it's, can someone do it for the long term?
Yeah.
And just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
At primary school, I learned to play violin. And I absolutely hated it. It didn't help that I had a teacher that was just a bully.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. And he really, thank God he didn't switch me off music, but he switched me off playing violin. I played for about 3 years at primary school, and I then turned around to my dad and said, look, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just not enjoying it, and I stopped, really. But had I had an inspiring teacher, I would have kept on.
Yeah.
So the teacher is so important.
Yeah.
In all this, And this guy was just.
I reckon it is.
I remember there was about 6 of us. He would teach about 6 at one time, and he would shout at us. And it was in a disused part of the school, far away from everybody else, and it was just a horrible experience. No heating in the middle of winter. You stood in your coats trying to get your fingers warmed up so you could play violin accurately.
God,
absolutely horrendous, really. And as a kid, I didn't know any better. I think you think you're the problem till you're older,
Yeah.
But yeah, good teachers.
Yeah, I played violin in 4th grade and then brass in 5th and 6th, and it was fun, but. Then I did sports and dropped music for a while, so that was dumb.
Yeah.
I should have been forced to take piano lessons. Would have been so much better.
I should have been forced to take piano lessons. I didn't. I'm self-taught.
I was doing quite well as well until I discovered girls, and then it all went to hell.
Yeah, well, I discovered girls.
Yeah. That and sports takes so much time. So
I just got bored of it. I don't know. I don't really know if there was any sort of specific moment where, with piano, for me, I got to a reasonable grade, and I just got bored with it. And I just thought, maybe I've just had enough of it. I'm not sure, but I don't really remember sort of thinking to myself that I hated it or anything, because I've always touched pianos all through my life. Never disliked it. It was just, I think that's the learning of the lesson side of things I got bored with. Maybe it was school got in the way. I'm not sure. I remember trying one stage, like in my 30s or something, whatever I was going to go back and do some more piano lessons because I sort of got the bug for it again. I thought, yeah, I need to probably get back on the bike and learn again. And this guy, like you're saying, Ian, the teacher, right? It's so important to have the right teacher. This guy started like as if I was I just came out of my mum's womb, and I started learning scales again with this guy. And I'm like, mate, I already know how to do this. Like, can we can we fast
so he couldn't
forward?
pitch you to the,
and he wouldn't let me.
He
wouldn't let me. He was like,
Really?
no, I want to see you be able to do this properly. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do this again. I've been doing this I did this as a kid. This is a nightmare. And I just said, no, it's enough. And then I just gave it up again. And then I think, like for me, I thought I always have a lot of respect for people that have played professionally, like especially people that play amazing concert sort of pianist type level stuff, because I know that I don't think I had enough discipline in me to go through that level. So they would have had extreme amounts of discipline to get there. And they don't. No one ever gets compensated properly for that. I actually think that you've got more discipline to do that than someone who's done a PhD. That's what I think. Do you think how many years does it take to do a PhD in your countries? So you do a bachelor's, right? Then you do your master's, and then you do your PhD, right? That's usually the way to do it.
I mean, I did my master's in 2 years, but I did it part time.
Yeah,
so you can do a master's in a year. A PhD
do a master's in a
year. 3 years.
PhD's minimum of 3. Minimum of 3.
3.
If you're doing it on time, So you're looking at your bachelor's is usually 3 or 4 years, depending on the degree you're doing. So let's say 4. Most of the sort of reasonable degrees are 4. So you're looking at somewhere around about 6 to 7 to 8 years of university. All right. So you've done school just like everyone else. You've done 6 or 7 or 8 years of university, and now you've got a doctorate. You're a PhD. Compare that to someone who has been playing concert piano or concert violin or whatever. They've been doing it for 30 years, and they practice every day, and they learn different music. They may pick up, say they've never learned, Strauss. They've all of a sudden or Brahms. They've never done Brahms before, but they've done Mozart, they've done Beethoven, they've done the greats, right? But all of a sudden now they're doing Brahms or they're doing Tchaikovsky or whatever. And some of them are really complex compared, like different ways of playing, different styles. Like if you do Bach, and you're into Bach, I learnt this, right? If you're into Bach, I like the Bach style because it's kind of sequency, the way the way he plays.
Layers, sequence layers.
Yeah.
Monophonic.
You've got this like all these sort of
part by part.
Yeah. Whereas if you do Mozart, it's sort of
intricate.
It's
contorted.
It's sort of like bits that start and stop and then go off on tangents. That's kind of Mozart. And then it's a different way of playing. And then you've got to also be disciplined.
You do Rachmaninoff, you go nuts.
And just think, these people, they can just sit down. You just watch them. You go to like a school, and then they'll start ad-libbing. They could just play anything in front of you. They could just pick it up and go. And you just think, holy shit, these guys are good. And there's a lot of them in the world. There's probably millions like that. And I actually think it's a shame that musicians don't get compensated like other people in this world.
Yeah, athletes get compensated heavily, but musicians don't. So.
Yeah.
Imagine.
By the way, the teachers you guys had that were bad, there's nothing like the Whiplash teacher, is there? Do you remember Whiplash?
Actually, that's a good example. That is a really
like
good
that.
example. He didn't
the crazy teacher with the drummer.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It's good. Miles Teller movie.
He would verbally abuse
Don't know that one.
all of us.
Yeah, check it out. It's pretty nuts.
Well, I used to say.
A question for you.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you. Keanu said that the older I get, the more I look like Data does now. What do you reckon?
Data as in Star Trek?
Star Trek Data.
No, because Data's got a fat face now.
You're looking Brent Spiner.
He's really chubber. He's really a chub now, that guy.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Nah.
I've seen him for ages. But in his prime, yes, you do look like Data.
There is a bit of, yeah.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
You just need to get some yellow contact lenses and we'll have a look.
Oh, okay.
I dressed up as Commander. I put on the full makeup and did that Commander Data at a How to Host a Murder Party once. Yeah, there's photos somewhere.
Kent, all you have to do is like just don't go in the sun for at least 5 years. So no sun. Look at completely anemic, right? Like take meat out of your diet or something, so that you're like your iron count is like make sure your skin looks clammy all the time, and then you'll probably look like Data, I think.
And you have to stop using contractions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, don't know about that.
He couldn't process contractions. That was part of his deal. He says, "I cannot do this. I cannot do that."
What does he look like without his latex though?
Yeah.
I think AI can do
Biscuit
it. It's hilarious.
Biscuit wants to see you do a pub in a Star Trek uniform.
Yes. You can have mine somewhere. Still got it.
So
probably won't fit you though.
Wags, the comment was that he looks like Data, not Brent Spiner, right? Or Spinner, or whatever you say it.
Yeah.
So he does. So that Fiona's basically saying that he looks like the guy with latex over his face.
Yeah. Or, makeup at least.
Yeah. I didn't think it was a compliment.
Oh no, that's a slap. That is a slap.
Not for a second.
I meant it as a compliment.
Yeah.
I actually meant it as a compliment.
From you,
no
I
slap from me.
It's got that golden glow.
They plant these little seed slaps all the time, don't they? Our wives. And then you just sit there and you ponder over it for a bit, and you think, "Oh, geez, I tell you what, you got away with that one, didn't you?"
Yeah, they just.
Then it becomes instrumental in the divorce.
I do it to her via the dogs, so I'll be going, look, Siri, here comes Fiona. You know, she's got a face like the back of a bus that's been hit by a really, really ugly bus. That kind of thing.
I mean, yeah. So she's probably getting you back, I think.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yes, and I fully accept that. Yeah. Oh yeah. All day.
She got you good when you cancelled the pub. She got you real good.
Exactly.
Why did you cancel the pub? Don't tell me you've cancelled the pub. This is not a permanent thing,
don't know the story?
No. I had a moment last week, and I've had to disengage from humanity for a little while. It's something that happens now and again.
It's a good thing anyway. Once in a while, just do that.
Yeah, it's just not for a very good reason. So now, basically, I had apparently some sort of seizure, and I lost memory for the last month, and that kind of stuff. It's been very sort of like, where am I? Yeah. Spending 10 minutes trying to remember what Lily's name was.
Yeah, but that's just us getting old, mate. I do that. You know.
Yeah, it's the seizure bit I could do without them.
Yeah, true. That's not good, man. Yeah. Look after yourself.
Yeah, I could do without that. So,
those migraines where they turn dark. That's scary. The optical migraine that turns dark, that's a scary thing.
Yeah, but I've had them since I was about 17. Although the whole big patch thing is new, but then I'm older.
I just get that Macintosh screensaver once, a little starburst that moves around. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's how it starts out, and then it goes poof, like that big black patch. But
I don't get those, but I know people that get those. They're nasty. They are.
Too much caffeine. I get the ocular migraine.
My sister
migraine
suffers from migraines. Yeah.
Well, I drink coffee like it's going out of fashion, and I'm worried that Colombia may, collapse under a financial crisis. So I do what I can.
It's okay, mate. I'm doing it for them.
The first thing the doctor said to me was, "Get off the coffee." Oh
yeah, well, I stopped coffee a long time ago. I'm better for it.
My problem is
I have the occasional decaf coffee.
My problem is I eat food, and I reckon I eat food to combat boredom or to stimulate something. Right? There's a lot of people who, and it's not like I'm a massive eater or anything like that, but I just sort of might munch on a snack here and there, and I reckon that's my problem. But for me, like if I want to stop doing something, so say for example, I like coffee, but I don't drink like you do, Kent. I just have 1 cup, maybe 2 a day, and I might have a couple of cups of tea a day as well. So caffeine wise, that's probably it for me. I don't drink soft drink or anything like that. Like the other day, I said to the wife, I said, probably should start looking at cutting a few kilos off. I might just stop having milk in my coffee. So now I'm just having black coffee. And I can do it. It doesn't affect me. If I put my mind to it, I'm motivated. I can do it. So I'm not like I don't get addicted to anything. Like I'm lucky like that, I guess.
And you're not a super.
Coffee's very acidic. Some people can't handle it without some kind of additive because the coffee's really nasty in your stomach.
Yeah, Keanu was the same. If she was bored or whatever like that, she'd have either wine or heroin or whatever. So no, the girl could drink like my Mustang. And she got it a bit more under control now, but she used to be like blatted every night.
Yeah,
which was quite hilarious. We used to have a lot of fun, didn't we? But but it's not good for her. That's the thing. And I think it's the same with the coffee. I have to address because I'm not having a coffee. It's like 2 spoonfuls of coffee, and then the sugar. Wow. Oh.
Yeah.
And the thing, the scary thing was, I hadn't noticed I was doing it. It was just very a progression, and then eventually, why am I putting coffee in this?
You know what you should do, right? First thing is stop having sugar in your coffee, and see what you think about it.
Sweeteners.
Get rid of, or not even that. Just don't even do sweeteners. Just completely drop any sweet flavor with your coffee.
The coffee's good. You don't need sugar. Yeah.
And then see if that changes your habits with the way you drink coffee. And if it does, because it might be the sweetness that you're kind of craving, not the coffee itself, and that's that whole sort of flavor with this coffee.
Well, the caffeine though is cumulative, and just like any other drug, you have tolerance. So that's why you get those headaches when you stop drinking it.
Yeah, and then the second thing I would do is, if you can, is instead of having the instant coffee with the teaspoons out of the jar and then pouring the hot water in, try and have a coffee that's ground beans.
Plunger.
Or a plunger if you can.
That's just tastes good anyway. Yeah.
You'll find that you get a proper cappuccino type shot of coffee, that will actually last a lot longer than the crappy instant coffee ones give you. So you actually get a better effect out of it, and then.
Well, I have been down that road before, and I had to come off it because I was having 15 or 16 of them a day.
Well, you having sugar in them.
That's it's the habit.
Yeah.
Probably.
So it's just that coffee is a problem.
Yeah.
End of. Yeah. And I've got to figure out a way of.
Drink it.
Well, yeah, but I've got to find a way of weaning off
Cutting
it.
it down. Yeah.
Yeah. If I can make it like a special treat or something like
that. Water works.
Also, if you have a mocha, you're adding chocolate, which has theobromine, which is an analog of caffeine. So you're adding caffeine and theobromine together. Now you're getting more of that effect. So
I mean, I've gone from drinking lots of tea every day. When I was at the university, I used to go through, I don't know how many cups of tea. And tea's got plenty of caffeine in it. And although I gave up coffee a long time ago, mainly because I had irritable bowel syndrome, which it wasn't helping that. The last few years, I've gone to more what I call twig teas. So I don't like sort of spearmint tea or any of that sort of thing, but I'll have something that's like there's a green tea.
Yeah, green tea.
I don't have milk in any of these.
No, you just have hot water. Yep, green tea's good.
Just hot water. And if I'm not drinking, and I probably go through about 5 cups a day. They're all different. I pick different ones at different times of the day, so I'm not having the same drink every time.
That's not too bad.
Green tea first thing.
Green tea's all right.
Yeah.
And if you're not having milk, and sugar in it, you're fine.
Yeah, no,
that's fine.
I mean, I do put sweeteners in some of them, not all of them. They're low in caffeine if they've got caffeine at all.
Yeah.
And
green tea doesn't have hardly any. I don't think.
I'll just drink water. I quite like flavoured waters, so I would, I'd buy a bottle of it's still water, not fizzy. So I'd buy still water, but I would then have half of whatever it is, say it's summer fruits water, just top it up with ordinary water. So it gives me a flavour to the water.
Yeah.
I never rotate them. I've got.
I think
3 or 4.
I think back to when I was a kid in the 70s, right? And I used to look at what my parents used, what my mum used to make for food, and what we had around us, and you know, walking around in bare feet in the 70s, you know, walking down in the creek, getting prickles in your feet. You know, it was a different world. We didn't have anywhere near the sugar and the processed food, sugars, some of these things that, like, really, when you think about it, they weren't there. There were a lot of the foods that we ate were more. We still had sugar, but we didn't. You know, we might have put a teaspoon of sugar in your tea or something. There was none of this.
You eat the less refined sugars.
Yeah.
Like you can get evaporated cane juice crystals called sucanat.
All the raw
it's
sugars.
The closest to right out of the cane, and it has like amino acids and other stuff in there too.
We buy raw sugar, which is the same thing.
Raw's close. Turbinato's close, but sucanat's the best.
Yeah. So for
basically,
me,
what I'm focusing on now is taking what I'm using as what I'm classing as essentials, take them out of that column and put them into the treat column, because they should not be in the essentials column.
Yeah, you got to readjust your priorities.
Right across the board.
Yeah.
I've got to face up to the fact that, you know, in your 60s now, I shouldn't be smoking like I'm 15 behind the bike shed and drinking coffee like it was lifeblood. And I think my body is now decided, no, that's enough. That's it.
Yeah.
But
at least you're not drinking 10 pints of beer a night, Ken, because that's a whole different.
Yeah, but it's. I suppose it's the. If it's not one thing, it's the other, isn't it? Kind of scenario.
It's another, yeah.
In a way, we just need something to sink our teeth into that gives us a purpose, right? So if you can find, like, dieting shouldn't be a punishment, or changing your habits shouldn't be a punishment. If you can come up with a way that you
set some goals,
can look at it like, okay, I know I've got to drop my coffee because it's hurting me, blah, blah, blah. If you can find a way to, like, psychologically tailor that so that you can say, you know what, I'm not going to miss this. I'm still allowed to have one a day or whatever, or two a day, one in the morning, one at night, whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
Then you're not missing out, and then you can say, well, I'm replacing it with something better for me. I'm winning, and you've got to just sort of turn it into some sort of beneficial psychological benefit for you. That way, you're not going to feel like you're being punished. If you feel the moment that you feel like something's been taken away from you, it's like a kid with toys, right? The moment you take the toy away from the kid, the kid's going to act up. We all have those basic instincts in us. So diets, that's why a lot of diets don't work, because people feel like that they have to miss out on things.
Well, a lot of the diets are extremes too, which is not healthy, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get back to the gym. I need to get back playing racquetball, which when we were in Yorkshire, I was going to Aquafit, and I was going to racquetball and playing racquetball every week. It's only the nearest gym is only down the road. The only problem here is it costs an arm and a leg to become a member. It's like £60 a month to become a member, which is, you know, just too much. Really.
Yeah, it's about the same.
Can't afford that at the moment.
Yep,
can't afford it. You know, all I want to do is I don't want to use the gym. I want to basically book a squash court to go and play racquetball for half an hour twice a week. You know, but I can't do that. I have to become a member.
My idea of
go back to uni, and they have gyms at uni.
Watching rugby.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Undergrad.
Do an undergrad course at uni, and then you get free gym membership.
Yeah, I can do a postgrad course. Yeah.
Bath
is the nearest university.
I mean, look, we can all help each other. We can all motivate each other and check each other, you know, how our progress is going. We've all got different things that we need to fix about ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that.
If anyone is watching a pub and they see Kent reaching for another coffee, perhaps just a little word. Oh, it's a time for a break.
You
can say it. He'll still do it.
You're drinking that coffee. You're going to go and get. No, you're not going to go and get. You're going to make that coffee last, aren't you? Yeah.
I don't think people do that.
Special
say his French,
so he has to stay awake.
That is true. I mean, finishing your pub at 7 a.m. when you started at six the night before. It's probably gone on a bit long. I'm just looking at how long I've been going for this show, thinking, holy shit, it's nearly 1 a.m. here,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't usually start this late.
Yeah. It's probably a little bit of adrenaline still pumping.
I think the pub record was 8.5 hours, 9 hours, something like that.
Yeah,
they have been, haven't they? I mean,
yeah.
See, look, even good old Stevie's awake. It's 3:52 a.m. over in sunny Melbourne. He needs mate. You need to have a coffee, bud.
Yeah.
I mean, there's reasons sometimes you can justify them, but yeah. I see it for me. I never saw coffee as like a massive, huge thing for me.
Wasn't for me. I love the taste of it, but no. Wasn't
I could easily drink, like Kent. I could easily drink 6-7 cups a day if I wanted to. But my wife uses instant coffee, and I don't. I use the machine, which grinds the beans, and then you compress them, you put them up, and you let it drip through.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the ass to make a coffee, and I do it on purpose because I know that I have to make a massive effort if I want to have a cup of coffee. And I hate the taste of. I hate the taste of instant. So
that's how I used to do it, and then Fiona got me the Longy, the pod one.
The pods.
And the next thing I know, I'm drinking so many of them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because it's too easy.
Yeah, you don't do the pods. No, pods it. Yeah, make it so that it's.
Do the French press, because
make it so it's a challenge.
Then you have to clean out the. You clean out the coffee grounds, and once you've done that a couple of times, you've done that a couple of times a day, you'll know when to stop.
Coarse ground, and you grind your own beans fresh with a burr grinder and French press, and it's the best coffee.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Really good.
That's exactly what we got. It's what they call a semi-automatic machine, where it does. You put the thing under, it grinds the beans, then you put it in the thing where it compresses them, and that goes click. And then you stick your cup underneath it. The water drips through.
On the machine in between, I have to do the.
Then you actually you have to steam your own milk if you want to have milk.
Yeah, if you have milk.
For me, I don't do milk anymore. I just have black now. And
Well,
the other thing too is I have a
cappuccino. I must apologise for turning the music technology show on Saturday evenings into a pub somehow. Sorry.
Just works out that way.
The thing is, we've covered our topics by the time we get to
there was an open invitation from Rant to extend the show with something else. When he pulled out that Timberwolf, that is an open invitation to hijack the show.
You knew something was wrong. You knew something was wrong.
Well, there should have been more profanity with that Timberwolf coming out. So
there was definitely wrong things coming out the back of that Timberwolf. Let me tell you.
Public.
Yes, and I mean, but we do need to finish because it's nearly 1 a.m. and I need to go, and I probably need to check on my little doggy, see how she's going.
Yeah.
Hugs for Bunny from us.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, give us some love from us, man.
Nice little doggy.
Look after your family, people.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. They're really important. Yep. All right, guys. Until next week, we shall have fun. Press record.
Have fun.
Indeed.
Cheers, guys.
Toodles.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.